A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Jane Ace has turned prize fight manager and is overseeing the training of Cokie for his big fight. Neil Williams, Marge's newspaper friend, has arranged the fight for this week. What Jane doesn't know is that Neil, to make sure Jane would forget about Cokie as a fighter, has arranged a match which Cokie is sure to lose. But Jane goes blissfully on with the daily workouts at the gymnasium. This episode is in alternate scenes between the gym and Mr. Ace's office. But first to the gym, where we find Kid Cokie punching the bag, Jane watching closely. Listen.
No, Cokie. Wait a minute. Stop, Cokie.
What's the matter?
Oh, you're still not doing it right. You're not hitting it hard enough. You're making it bounce. I told you to try to imagine the punching bag is the boy you're going to have to fight with. You wouldn't make him bounce, would you? Sure you wouldn't. You'd hit him so hard he'd fall down. Can't you try to imagine it's the boy you're going to fight?
I'm trying to.
Oh, you are not. Hit it like I showed you yesterday. Remember when I hit it so hard it bounced back and punched my nose and made it bleed? My goodness, I thought that would make you mad enough to want to hit it hard. Didn't it make you mad when it hit me?
No, that was awful funny.
Cokie, you mustn't laugh at things like that. Now go ahead and try it again like I showed you.
All right.
Are you imagining it's the boy you're going to fight?
I'm trying to.
Oh, no, it still bounces. Wait a minute. Stop! It still bounces, Cokie.
Oh, gee.
Cokie, where do you pick up such expressions? It's OG. Now, let's start all over again. You can't be imagining it's the boy you're going to fight and keep hitting it that way. Oh, I know what. Imagine it's Judy. That ought to make you hit it harder. Go ahead. Now, imagine it's Judy.
Who?
Judy. You've heard of the saying, punching Judy. Now, go right ahead and imagine it's Judy. Maybe that'll make you hit it harder.
I'll try.
Well, I'll keep reminding you. Come on, punching Judy. Go ahead, hit it. Punching Judy. Punching Judy. Judy! No, stop it, Cokie. You're not thinking of Judy, I can see that.
Oh, yes, I am.
Well, why don't you punch it like you are?
I used to like Judy. She was the prettiest girl at the orphanage.
Oh, that Judy. You're thinking of the wrong Judy. Oh, I'm sorry if I upset you, Cokie. Just forget about her. Maybe you better rest a little while.
Gee, can I?
Yes, I mean you don't have to punch the bag anymore. Now, you just take it easy and relax while I show you again what to do when you win the fight. That's right. Sit down. Do you remember what I told you the first thing to do when you win?
I think so.
What?
Well, I give the referee my hand, and he raises it up like this.
That's it. Which hand now? Think hard. Which hand? Are you thinking?
I'm trying to.
Which hand? The, right?
Right?
Right. Did you hear that? You said right and I said right. Well, I guess they're spelled different. Now, what's the next thing?
The next?
Yes. You remember, after he raises your hand?
Oh, yeah. I talk into the radio.
That's right. Only they call it a microscope. And what do you say?
I forgot.
You mustn't forget. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Hello, Mom. It was sure an easy fight.
No. What's the matter with you, Cokie? Can't you remember anything?
I thought you told me that.
No, it's hello, Mother. It was sure an easy fight.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Mother. It was sure an easy fight, and I won't be home tonight.
That's right, because you're going right back to the Y and rest up. I wish you could say, and I'll be home early like everybody else says, but Neil says not to put that in because you might not be home early. And he thinks you may have to go to the Y and rest up.
Gee, I wish I could.
Oh, not now. The fight's tomorrow night. I want everything to come off just right. You'll have plenty of time to rest after you win the fight. Don't worry about it.
Hello, Neil. Hey, I just came from the gym where Jane's working out her pug. Is it as funny as all that? Well, it's reached the stage where she was rehearsing him and what to do when he wins this fight. And even had him saying, hello, Mom, I'll be home early.
What?
Yeah, I took that line out, though. I told her she better not expect him to be home too early.
Well, from what you tell me about this Ruffy Tornello that he's fighting, I should imagine he'll be lucky if he comes to in the morning.
You said it.
Is he really that tough?
Well, nobody's even knocked him down in all the time he's been fighting out there.
Funny he never came up in the fight racket if he's that good.
Oh, he's no champ. He's the best they've got at the Coliseum. He's a favorite out there, and Mike Wheeler, who manages him, knows he's got a gold mine in him if he just sticks to the mediocre class.
It's quite a drawing card when they announce Ruffy's going to fight out there.
Well, doesn't he ever lose?
Lose? They never even get near him. I tell you, he's never even been knocked down. The fans flock in every time he fights, just in hopes of seeing him knocked down even once.
Well, that's funny. How does he do it?
He's just a good boy, that's all. He's a 5-to-1 shot every time.
Oh, he is. Say, speaking of 5-to-1 shots, do you think I could get a bet down on him?
Well, if you want to give 5-to-1.
Well, if he's as big a cinch as you say, and I know Koki can't hit anything.
Oh, sure, you can bet all you want. The fans at the Coliseum live in hopes every time he fights. You can get a bet down.
Well, I don't know how to go about that. Suppose you place a bet for me, and...
Sure, if you want to bet. Personally, I never bet on fights.
Well, this isn't going to be a fight. It's a massacre.
I guess you're right. Poor Koki.
Poor nothing. He'll come out of it, and I've got him a job at the Everett department store, and he can forget prize fighting. It'll be the best thing that ever happened to him. Now, about this bet, I'd like to make a pretty good wager while I'm at it. This is costing me money, you know, Jane not being home and me running around buying meals.
Well, how good a bet do you want to make? You'd have to give about 5-to-1.
Well, it's a cinch. I'd like to win about $200 to get even on my expenses.
You want to lay 1,000 to 200?
I don't mind. I can't lose it. What difference does it make?
Okay, I can get it down for you.
All right, $200 is $200.
Yeah, and 1,000's 1,000.
But the 1,000's a cinch, you say?
Sure, barring accidents. I mean, suppose Koki managed to land a lucky one.
No, he couldn't manage anything. He doesn't know the first thing about boxing. Suppose he does have a punch. What good is it if he can't land it? And this Ruffy Tornello is going to make sure he doesn't land it.
I guess you're right.
It's not guessing.
Well, okay, I'll get it down for you. I'll go over and see Mike first and make sure Tornello's in condition.
Yeah, now you do that. Here, I'll give you a check, and if he is in condition, you get a bet down for me, will you?
Sure. I think I can still catch Mike at the gym if I hurry. I hope Jane and the kid will be gone by the time I get there. I don't like...
And don't forget, when the crowd starts applauding and hollering your name after you win, you have to hold your hands over your head like this. See? Kind of shaking hands with yourself. See what I mean? See how I'm doing?
Yeah.
Well, do it.
Like this?
That's right. Only shake your hands more. That's it. That's fine. Now, if you remember all that, you'll have nothing to worry about. And won't Mr. Ace be surprised when I bring you home after the fight?
Yeah.
That's all. You can put your hands down now. Now, I think we ought to work out some more, don't you?
Well, I'm tired. I want to lay down a while.
Oh, but the fight's tomorrow night. You can't lay down now. Come on, we'll start in. Oh, there's that Mr. Wheeler coming over again. Hello, Mr. Wheeler.
Hello, Mrs. Ace.
Say hello, Koki.
Hello, Mr. Wheeler.
Hi, boy. Well, still at it, I see. You sure been giving your boy a workout. Been here every day now for about a week, haven't you?
Well, he has to keep working out if he wants to be the overweight champion of the world.
Overweight?
I was just showing him a few things about what to do when he wins.
Oh, when he wins.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you about that, Mrs. Ace, if I could see you alone for a few minutes.
Well, I'm alone.
Oh, I mean without the kid here.
Oh, Koki, you better go over there and work out some more.
I'm tired.
Go ahead now. Mother knows best. Go on.
Oh, all right. I'll just skip the rope a while.
All right, I'll be right over. Now, what is it, Mr. Wheeler?
Oh, just call me Mike, Mrs. Ace. All the boys call me Mike.
All right, Mike.
Now, what I'd like to see you about is maybe we can make a deal.
Beg pardon?
Well, you see, it's this way. My boy got a little too sure about this match with your boy there and broke all training rules. Last night or early this morning, we found him cold to the world, passed out. And I don't mind telling you, he's in awful shape.
What happened to him?
Well, the usual thing, fell off the wagon.
Fell off the
Yeah,
wagon?
now, you know, I can't take chances losing the biggest drawing card at the Coliseum's ever had. If he takes the count tomorrow night, he's all washed up. Now, I figure we could make a deal. My boy will be in there all right, but he's just about to be able to hold his hands up. One lucky punch will knock him flat. But if your boy lays down, I could make it worth your while. You get it?
I don't think I understand what you mean.
Well, I'll talk cold turkey.
Oh, please don't mention food when Koki's around. He always wants to eat, and I keep telling you.
Yeah, I get it. Well, the proposition's this, Mrs. Ace. I got a fortune in this boy of mine as long as he keeps up the way he's been going. I don't mind spending $1,000 to see that he keeps his record clean. Now you get it, don't you?
No, I still don't understand.
Well, you don't want me to put it in black and white, do you?
Oh, there's no use feeling black and white about it just because he fell off
Now,
the
just
wagon.
a minute, lady. I'm trying to make a deal with you. How about $1,000 if your boy lays down?
Lays down? Now?
Now? What do you mean now?
Well, he was just talking about laying down, and I said,
Good.
no.
I'll give you $1,000 if he does.
$1,000?
Yeah, cash, right now.
$1,000 just to lay down?
Right. Is it a deal?
$1,000? You mean just to lay down? How long?
As long as they last.
Well, let me see. Tomorrow night's the fight. He can't lay down
I know
longer.
the fight's tomorrow night. If it was next week, I wouldn't have to make a deal with you. I could get Ruffy into shape, and it'd be a cinch. Now, how about it? Cold cash. Do you want it?
Well, I should say I do. Just lay down for $1,000. I should say so. Are you joking?
Joke? I mean business. Will he do it?
Well, for $1,000, he'd lay down and roll over.
Very good, lady. Well, here you are. Now, this has got to be on the QT. Nobody knows about this, you understand?
Oh, well, I won't tell anybody.
Here you are. You'll find it in this envelope. I thought you might listen to reason.
$1,000 in here?
Yep, it's all in there. Now, nobody knows about this, you understand? Nobody.
I understand. Oh, I better tell Cokie, though. Can I tell him?
Can you tell him? You gotta tell him. He won't know nothing about laying down if you don't.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'll tell him right now, and we'll leave here right away and start it.
Start what?
Start
Hey,
right...
Mike, I want to see it.
Oh, it's Neil. Hello, Neil. I won't say anything to him either.
Better not.
Say, Mike, I'd like to see him.
Well, I gotta go. Goodbye, Mike. Goodbye, Neil. Cokie, come on. We've got things to do. Goodbye, boys.
Well, what hit her?
I don't know. Screwy dame. Well, what's on your mind?
Well, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, wants to make quite a big bet on your boy. How about it?
Sure.
It's okay? Just want to make sure your boy's in condition.
Don't worry. He's gonna win. It's in the bank.
That's what Mike thinks. But what Jane thinks about making $1,000 that easy is another story. We'll learn more about it when the fight comes off, when next we meet the Easy Aces.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now read Dragnet every day on the comic page of your favorite newspaper. Please consult your local daily paper. The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes. Best of all, king-size cigarettes brings you Dragnet on both radio and television.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to bunco detail. A team of confidence men are taking thousands of dollars from the people of your city. Their method of operation? Posing as solicitors for different charitable causes. There's no lead to their whereabouts. Your job? Stop them. Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
Yes, compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs, 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Buy Fatima in the bright, sunny yellow pack.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, February 16th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of bunco detail. My partner's Bill Lockwood. The boss is Captain Steve. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 2:18 p.m. when we got to First and Valencia, the West Valley Hotel. Over here to the left, Jim. No. Excuse me?
Oh, sorry we're all filled up. No more room.
No, we don't want to register. No, we're police officers. I'd like to check one of your guests.
You have a Raymond Seidel registered? Seidell?
Let's see. No, there's no Raymond Seidel registered.
Small man, about 5'6", 130 pounds, tan complexion, between 35 and 40, wears one-room glasses.
Well, I don't know. What's the trouble anyway?
Anyone like that registered here?
Well, I was just about to say there's no Raymond Seidel. We got a Raymond Singer, though. Small fella. He wears glasses.
Yeah.
I'd say he was about 35 or 40.
In his room now?
No, matter of fact, he just left a minute ago. He went out for lunch, I think, just before you fellas walked in.
Where's he usually eat, you know?
Our coffee shop right next door. He's got a gray top coat on, gray hat.
Okay, thanks.
You can use that door right here. It connects to the coffee
Right,
shop.
thank you.
Spot him?
Yeah, far into the counter up to the front door, see?
Yeah, description checks out.
All right, come on.
Spotted us going for the front door.
All right, police officers, hold it up there.
in your room. All right, come on. This way.
Where'd he go, Iloff?
Alley up ahead. He ducked in there.
Down the ramp, Joe. Hotel garage. Ran in there.
All right, come on, let's hurry. You spot him, Bill?
No. Any other way out beside this ramp?
Wait a minute. Yeah, down the far end there. Another exit. I'll take that. You cover this end.
Right.
Hey, watch it, Bill. He's coming out. The blue sedan.
All right, hold it. Look out, Joe. Coming at us.
I'll go for his tires. All right, come on, Bill.
All right, stay where you are. All right, don't shoot. Don't shoot.
All right, then hold it right there.
What's the pitch, anyway? Wasn't doing anything.
Hands behind you.
Raymond Seidel, is that right?
That's right. I wasn't doing anything. What's this all about?
You know as well as we do.
Look what you did in my car. Just look at it.
You cracked it up, mister. We didn't. Come on.
Come on, where? I haven't done anything.
We want to talk to you downtown.
I'm not saying anything. You can talk to my lawyer. Get the story from him.
We already got it. Come on, let's go. 2:35 p.m. We took the suspect, Raymond Seidel, back to the hotel with us, where we checked his room thoroughly. Bill got on the phone, made arrangements to have Seidel's car impounded and a stakeout placed at the hotel. Then we drove back to the city hall and took the suspect to the interrogation room. A check through our Records and Identification Bureau earlier in the day had revealed a fair-sized record for Seidel. He'd had 4 previous local arrests, 2 for petty theft, 1 for second-degree burglary, 1 for grand theft auto. He'd been convicted on one of the petty thefts and also on the burglary charge, for which he'd served time in the state penitentiary at San Quentin. Bill and I started questioning him. The first half hour, we got nowhere.
I told you I haven't been doing anything. I've been clean ever since I got out.
Where were you last night, Ray?
Knocking around town.
What'd you do?
Had a couple of drinks, went to a show, came out and went to see some bimbo I know.
What's your name?
Helen lives up on South Custer, and you can ask her. She'll tell you I was there.
What time did you see her?
About 10 o'clock? Yeah, just about.
You're a liar, Ray.
Hmm?
You're a liar.
What gives you a call to say that? It's the truth.
And 4 other people must be lying.
Well, what do you mean, what other people?
You know what I mean. Now, how about it, Ray?
I don't know what you mean, so help me. I don't.
Why don't you give it up, Seidel? You ought to know better. We wouldn't have you down here if we didn't have you pegged.
Pegged for what? I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right, then I'll tell you, Ray. About 8:30 last night, you put in a call to a Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Keyes. They live out in East Hollywood, Gladstone, 3962. Mrs. Keyes answered the phone. You told her you were taking contributions for European children, war orphans. You knew she was interested in the cause. You asked her for a donation.
You're crazy. That wasn't me. I don't even know the
You done Mrs. Keyes, and she agreed to contribute. She offered $50. You talked her up to $150. She asked you where to send the money, and you said, never mind, you'd be out to collect it. 45 minutes later, you were out there. You parked your car by a candy store down the street from the Keyes' home. You walked up the block to the Keyes' place, collected the money, and you left.
Now, you prove it was me. You prove
We got it cold, Seidel. Mrs. Keyes' husband got suspicious about the setup. 45 minutes after you phoned, you were at the front door with your hand out. You had no credentials, nothing. You noticed you parked your car down the street instead of in front of the house. You got the license number of your car when you pulled away. So the owner of the candy store. You parked your car just outside his place. All 3 of them can describe you and your car. Mr. Keyes, Mrs. Keyes, the man at the candy store.
Yeah, they're right.
Getting over to you, Ray?
Gonna take more than a couple of people to build a case.
All right, we got more. You gave Mrs. Keyes a signed receipt for the $150. You signed it Tom Seidel. Our handwriting man checked the signature with a specimen of your handwriting we got from your package. Now, they both checked, not a doubt in the world. What do you say?
I don't know. What would you say?
It's your jam. What's the story?
Listen, anyway, why should I dig my grave?
Any way you want it. You're going to stay on the load for the last 2 months, including the one you pulled last night. It makes 14 cases.
It's a lie. It's a lousy lie.
Cigarette, Ray?
What are you trying to do to me anyway? 14 jobs. I never hustled that hard in my life.
That's how many we've had in the last couple of months.
Why load them on me?
Every one of them follow the same general M.O. Same way you worked it last night. We don't know where you got your list of names, but you contact people who are interested in different charities. You pose as an authorized solicitor. You get their money and then you take off. The last 2 months you've been collecting for more than 10 different drives. European Orphans, the Milk Fund, Summer Camp for Underprivileged Kids, Crippled Children's Fund. The people give their money in good faith and you take off with it.
Look,
your M.O. follows all the way through. It's a sour record, Ray. We're going to lean hard on you.
I said, will you wait a minute? No, when I'm done, I'll give you the story.
Yeah?
I'm not taking the whole load on my back. I'll cop out to the one last night, but that's all.
You look good for all of them.
Look, will you give me a chance? The one last night was the first try for me. It's the only one I ever tried. I'm squaring with you. I was crazy even to make a pass at it. I should have known better. I'm not a bunk man.
I already told you, Ray. Last night's a close match with the other job. You say you'll cop out to one. How do we account for the other 13?
Just among us, whatever I say, I don't want credit for.
All right. What's the pitch?
Can I have that cigarette now?
Yeah. There you are.
Yeah, thanks.
Here's a match.
I got out into things Sunday night. doing a little drinking at this place on Boyle Avenue. There were a couple of guys at the bar who were talking about it. I didn't know them.
Talking about what?
The racket. Getting a list of marks and collecting charity money from them. These two guys weren't working it. They just heard it was going on. They were yakking to the bartender about it. They figured some out-of-town grifters were doing it.
And you figured you'd get in on the bandwagon, is that it?
Well, I thought I'd try a couple of jobs, that's all. Need a few bucks to tide me over. Didn't look like much of a risk.
How do you mean?
Well, I heard about the M.O. the grifters were using. Pretty simple to copy. I followed it through just the way I heard they did it. They had a half dozen jobs under their belt already. If you knocked them over and they had to stand the rap, a couple of jobs of mine wouldn't make any difference.
Free ride, is that what you figured out?
Well, what's the difference? I didn't get it. Figured you'd catch up with them and they'd take the rap for my jobs along with their own. And just my luck. You get me instead, and now I'm up to stand the rap for everything.
Now, it's a pretty fair story, Ray. Any way of proving it?
Sure, easy. These grifters started working here 2 months ago, didn't they? They hit pretty hard the first week or so, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't even in town then. Wasn't here the whole month. I was up in Monterey.
Any way of proving that?
Sure, ask the sheriff up there.
Huh?
Ask the sheriff. He'll tell you.
Well, why should he know anything about it?
He ought to. He had me in jail the whole month.
3:40 p.m. While Bill continued questioning the suspect, Raymond Seidel, I went down the hall to the squad room and put in a call to the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. They confirmed Seidel's story. He'd been arrested in the town of Monterey December 13th, approximately 2 months before, on charges of vagrancy and suspicion of robbery. He was confined in the county jail there from December 13th to January 15th, the same period of time during which the unidentified bunco men had started their campaign of falsely soliciting funds for various charities. While the information cleared Seidel of any part in the bunco charity operations throughout the city that month, he still had to answer for his actions the night before, soliciting contributions falsely from the couple out in East Hollywood, Mr. and Mrs. Keyes. After his statement was taken, Bill Lockwood and I drove Seidel to the main jail, where we booked him in on suspicion of 48 PC petty theft. Further investigation the next day and a half seemed to indicate that the last story we got from Seidel was pretty close to the facts. It was the case of a small-time thief imitating the apparently successful formula of a veteran team of bunco artists, an imitation which in the criminal world is far from unusual. A week passed. Despite the broadcasts, the bulletins, and the special notices we'd gotten out on the suspects and their operations, there were 3 more cases reported. One of them came from a Mrs. Teresa Guilfoyle, the woman in charge of the crippled children's home. Bill and I drove out to talk to her.
This is the first thing I want to show you, officer.
What's that?
This way, please.
Go ahead, Bill. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, sweetheart. There are 2 gentlemen here I'd like to have you meet. Stephen, this is Sergeant Friday, and this is Officer Lockwood, their policeman. This is Stephen, officer. He's 3 years old.
Well, how are you, Stephen?
Hello, son.
He'd like to say hello, officer, but he can't. His legs aren't his only trouble. He can't hear. He can't talk either.
Oh, it's too bad.
You're learning, though, aren't you, sweetheart? You bet you are. A little while with us, and you'll be talking a blue streak. All right, honey. You run along and play now. Real sweetheart, isn't he? I wanted you to meet him, so you'd see what this means to us. When I look at children like that, this whole mess just makes my blood boil.
Yes, ma'am. We see what you mean.
It's hard enough getting people to contribute money to keep this place open, help those poor kids to walk and talk. Thieves have to make it even harder. The way things are, I can't see how we're going to get through the year.
Oh, how much do you estimate it's cost you, Mr. Guilfoyle? I mean, how much in donations have these phony solicitors taken?
Well, I know of at least $700 they collected from different people. Lord knows how much more money they got that was supposed to go to the home. I suppose a lot of people still think they gave their money to the right person.
Well, did you receive the notice we sent out about 6 weeks ago, ma'am, about how these thieves operated?
Yes, I did. I made a special note of it. When we sent out our annual appeal letter to our regular donors, most of your notice was incorporated right in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. I guess they didn't pay any attention to it.
When did you first find out something was wrong, ma'am?
It was yesterday morning. One of our regular donors, Mr. Baxter, called me. He wanted to know if we received his contribution all right. He wondered because he didn't receive his regular thank you note. That's when he told me about this man who came to his house and collected the money.
I see.
As soon as I heard that, 2 of the other girls and myself got on the phone and called every one of the regular donors. There were 10 of them, just like Mr. Baxter. Gave their good money to help these tots, and we never received a penny of it. I've got all their names and addresses here if you'd like them.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome to them if you want them.
Yes, that'd be fine. We'd like to check with each one of them. Now, this is the complete list, all the regular donors who contributed and their money wasn't received. Is that right?
Yes, sir, all those we know of. There's probably a lot more, I suppose. You've been in police work for a few years, haven't you, Sergeant? You must have met all kinds.
Yes, ma'am, I suppose so.
What kind would you say these men are? I mean, going around and stealing the little regular income we have from donations. What kind of persons can they be?
Well, there's thousands of them, Miss Guilfoyle. They walk every city in the world. They want money. They want everything that goes with it. They'll do anything but work for it.
But the money these men are stealing, they must know it's for these crippled children to help them walk again, help them talk, little kids like Stephen.
Yes, ma'am.
And these men call themselves human beings. And they take help away from a child like that. Humans. I couldn't be more ashamed of them. Ashamed to live in the same city with them.
Yes, ma'am.
You'd think God would punish them. You'd think God would come down and punish them right now.
Well, maybe he's even ashamed. Before we left, Mrs. Guilfoyle gave us a complete list of the names and addresses of donors who contributed annually to the upkeep of the crippled children's home. For the next couple of days, Bill and I contacted each one of them personally. Those people who'd already given their contributions to the thieves unknowingly were unable to help us. Their descriptions of the men who solicited money from them in the name of the crippled children's home generally duplicated the descriptions we'd gotten from the previous victims. None of them were very detailed, but they did seem to confirm our theory that there were 2 or more men involved in the bunco operation. Receipts for the money they'd given the thieves were signed either by a Fred Wellman or a Norman Archer. The handwriting varied in each case. Those donors on the list who had not yet been contacted were the best hope we had of reaching the suspect. Since the crippled children's home appealed for funds only through the mail, we advised these people to get in touch with us immediately if anyone contacted them by phone and asked for contributions. A few more days passed. Monday, February 27th. We got a call back from one of these donors, a Mr. George Stage of the Consolidated Pool Company out in the valley. We located him supervising work at the site of one of their pool constructions in the Toluca Lake area.
Oh, yeah, glad to see you again, Sergeant. Say, could you hold on just a minute? I want to test that batch of mud and see if the mixture's right. Won't take a minute.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Andy, come here a minute, will you? How's that mixture look to you?
Sure a nice-looking pool, isn't it, Bill?
Big one. Sure be nice to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Why don't you look into it?
Well, all I could afford to do right now, look into it.
Okay, Sergeant, 6 to an even. Want to go over by the truck, lose some of this racket so we can talk?
All right, that's fine.
I hope I got something for you. Not sure if it'll be worth anything to you.
You said on the phone you got a call last night.
Well, I didn't. My wife did. They wanted to talk to me, but I wasn't home yet. Out finishing a pool for some folks in Encino.
Uh-huh.
Have a seat there if you want. You know, this running board for you.
Well, that's all right. Fine. Good. Well, what was the gist of the phone call, Mr. Stage? Who was it?
Well, as I say, the wife answered. Fellow told her his name was Mr. Archer. Said he was collecting for the crippled kids' home. Of course, the wife knew the setup. After you talked to me, I warned her about the phony collectors going around.
What'd she tell him, Nancy?
Well, she didn't get a chance to tell him anything. He did most of the talking. Gave her a big spiel about how much the poor crippled kids needed help. The wife asked him if he'd leave a number so I could call him back when I got home.
Well, did he leave a number?
No. Gave some phony excuse he wouldn't be at the same phone, something like that.
No.
Went out to ask her if she couldn't make out a check. Said he could come right out to pick it up. The wife said no, she couldn't. Matter of fact, she couldn't. I've got the checkbook. Excuse me. Andy, get one of the boys to help you down the hole. You can't do that all by yourself. My partner, Andy's a great worker.
Yes, sir. Well, what was the upshot of the phone conversation between Archer and your wife, I mean?
Well, she kept asking for a phone number or an address, someplace where I could get back to him when I got home. I guess they got it figured, though. He wouldn't give her a thing.
And that's the way it ended, sir?
Yes, sir, that's it. Might be I'll have better luck, though.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, this fella Archer told the wife he'd call me back tonight.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action.
Because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, more smokers coast to coast are switching to king-size Fatimas every day.
Prove Fatima quality yourself.
Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs, 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality.
Friends, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Fatima contains the finest tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild, with a much different, much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima gives you more for your money because it's king size and because you get the added protection of Fatima quality. Look for the bright, sunny yellow pack. Switch to Fatima today.
Monday, February 27th, 1:30 p.m. As soon as we found out there was a possibility that one of the bunco suspects might contact the potential victim, George Stage, that night, Bill and I started making arrangements to be ready for him. At 6:45 p.m., we were at the Stage home when the suspect telephoned. He identified himself as Norman Archer. George Stage followed our instructions to the letter. He agreed to make a contribution and asked Archer to call at his home to pick up the check. He set the date for 9 o'clock that night to allow us enough time for preparation. We got in touch with Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab, and he sent out 2 of his sound technicians with a microphone set up and a tape recorder. By 8 p.m., the installation was complete. The microphone concealed in the living room of the Stage home, and the tape recorder set up in an adjoining room. Bill and I were stationed at the recorder in the bedroom. 8:30, 8:45. We waited. 9 p.m., 9:05.
Somebody at the front door.
Yeah. You want to give me the headset, Bill?
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay. Want to turn on the recorder?
Right, Joe.
Stage? Yes, sir, that's right. My name's Norman Archer, Mr. Stage. I'm glad to know you. Oh, yeah, Archer. Glad to meet you. Come on in. Thank you. Very nice place you have here. Comfortable. We're pretty happy with it. Sit down, Archer. Thank you. Well, say, I hope I'm not interrupting your evening, Mr. Stage. Oh, no, that's all right. Just sitting here watching television. I see. Well, I don't want to take up a moment of your time. I don't suppose I have to tell you what a worthy cause it is I represent, Crippled Children's Home. I'm glad to make a donation. It's one of my favorite charities. I'm certainly happy to hear that, sir. Whether you haven't any idea how much good your money does. Those little tots out in the home really need our help, all the help we can give them. I suppose they do. Are you one of the officials out at the home? Well, yes, I suppose you can call it that. I'm one of the authorized collectors for the maintenance fund. I have a receipt here for your donation, all made out in your name. Yes, here we are. I suppose you know that all donations to the home are deductible from your income tax. Yeah. Well, here we are. Seats all filled out, your name and address. This space here I left vacant, the amount of your contribution. I'll fill it out right now. All right. How much would you like me to put you down for, sir? Well, I don't know. I don't have too much cash on hand. Would a check be all right? Well, actually, we don't like to be fussy, but it does help our bookwork. The donations are made in cash, still takes the handling of funds. Oh, well, I've only got $20 or $30 in cash. I'd like to give more than that. You sure a check wouldn't be all right? Well, as I say, it's simpler if the donation is cash, but check is all right. That's fine. Okay. I get out for you. All I've got here is my company check. How's that? Company checks are all I have here. Consolidated Pool Company. I guess it'll work just as good. It'd be like a donation from the company. Oh, fine. Now, should I make that out now payable to the Crippled Children's Home? No, the home doesn't have a commercial banking account. It's not incorporated, you know. Oh, isn't it? I thought it was. Oh, I usually handle the check donations through my personal account, so you can just make it out to me. We have to simplify bookwork, and it takes a lot of work to run a home like that, and we can't afford a bookkeeper either. See. I'll make it out to, I'm sorry, what's your first name again? Norman Archer. A-R-C-H-E-R. How much shall I put you down for? Well, let's see. I think I gave $200 last year. Yeah, I think that was it. Yes, we certainly appreciate it, too. Of course, it's like everything else. Our maintenance costs have gone up. You give those youngsters nothing but the best. I mean, if you could see your way clear to make it a little more this year, we'd certainly thank you for it. That goes for those crippled kids, too. Well, I guess I could make it a little more. We've had a pretty good year. Let's make it $250. That'd be fine. That's wonderful. Sure appreciate it, Mr. Stade. Really, if it wasn't such a great cause, I'd be embarrassed asking you for money. No, not at all. Only glad I can afford it. Here you are. You better watch the ink. I think it's still wet. Thank you very much, sir. I guess I don't have to tell you again how much we appreciate it. Let's see. Where did I put my hat? It's right outside in the hallway. Oh, yes. There you are. Thank you. Well, I'll see that your check gets in the bank first thing in the morning. All right. Thanks for coming out. Pleasure, Mr. Stage. Thank you. Don't know how much this check means to us. I think I do. Good night. Good night, sir.
Joe, come on, let's go.
You hear it all right? You hear what he said?
Yes, sir, we got it.
How rotten can you get, huh?
Yes, sir. Bill, do you want to take a look out the window?
All right.
Mr. Stage, will you leave that tape recorder right where it is? Don't let anyone touch it. We'll be back.
Yeah, all right.
He's pulling out, Joe, heading down the street. Brace it in.
All right, let's go. We'll call you, Mr. Stage.
Yeah, okay.
You see him, Bill?
Yeah. Down past the next block.
All right, let's hurry. Go ahead, slide on my side. Now, let's keep the lights off for a couple of blocks. Don't get him excited.
All right.
Can you see him? The one turning left, gray sedan. Is that him?
Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Pull up close if you can, huh? See if we can make his license.
Give it a try. How's that?
A little closer. Okay, that's fine. 1 sugar 16605.
All right.
I'll check it and see if it's hot. 1K80 to control 1. 1K80 to control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80. All other cars on frequency 6 stand by.
1K80 to control 1. Request rolling make for stolen and DMV on 1 sugar 16605. Repeat. 1S16605. KMA 367.
Control 1 to 1K80. 1 sugar 16605. Stand by.
You should have gotten a good look at him, Bill. Might have recognized him, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't take a chance. Anyway, it's worth more if we get him and his partner together. Wrap it all up in one. Save us a lot of headache.
Yeah, well, don't lose him. He turned left up the next corner.
Yeah, I saw him. He hasn't made it.
Yeah, I think we're in the clear. All right, you can turn your lights on, huh?
All right.
Control 1 to 1K80. Control 1 to 1K80. 1 sugar 16605, no 1. Car is a 1950 Pontiac, 2-door sedan. Registered to Charles A. Sutton, 5840 Octavia Street, Los Angeles. Motor number 1 Adam 6 Paul 3342. Legal the same. KMA 367.
1K80 to control 1. Would you check records for Charles A. Sutton? Age and description unknown. Rush request. We have suspect under rolling surveillance.
Control 1 to 1K80. Roger.
Looks like he's slowing down, Joe. Yeah.
All right, don't press him. Yeah, he's pulling up. He's stopped there.
Better cut the light.
Yeah, pull up right here, huh?
Can you see him?
Yeah. Going up to that house. Porch light on.
Yeah. Must be where he keeps his pad. Acts like he's been there before.
There's a man answering the door. He's going in.
Control 1 to 1K80. Come in.
1K80 to control 1. Go ahead.
Control 1 to 1K80. We have a Charles A. Sutton, WMA, 42 years, 5'9", 163 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. He has a long felony record, suspicion of robbery, suspicion of burglary, grand theft, bunco. Also 3 outstanding traffic warrants. License number 1 sugar 16605.
1K80 to control 1. Roger. KMA 367.
What do you think?
Let's take him.
Right.
All right, you want to take the back, Bill? I'll go in the front.
Okay, give me a second to get around.
Right.
Yeah?
Police officer, want to talk to you. All right, come on, open it up. I'll carry the cup. All right, hold it right there against the wall.
All right, you're back inside, police officers. Joe, all right?
Yeah. Did you get him all right?
It's okay. Come on up front, please.
What are you trying to do? What's this all about?
We'll talk downtown. You know what it's all about.
All right, over next to your partner.
What are you doing anyway? You haven't got anything on us.
You want to get the cuffs on him, Bill?
Stand still, both of you.
Here's mine.
What's the pitch here anyway? Harry and I haven't done anything. Busting in here like this, private house, you got no business here.
$250 says you're wrong.
What?
This check in your right-hand pocket. All right, come on, let's go.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On May 28th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 88, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, this coming weekend, I'd like to suggest that you put Fatima's at the top of your shopping list. You'll find it mighty convenient to have enough Fatima's around the house to last into the next week. When you shop, just look for the bright, sunny yellow carton. You'll find Fatima gives you an extra mild and soothing smoke. And remember, Fatima gives you more for your money because it's king size and because you get the added protection of Fatima quality. Get a carton tomorrow. Fatima.
Charles A. Sutton and his accomplice, Harold B. Mather, were tried and convicted on 3 counts of grand theft money and received sentences as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for not less than 1 nor more than 10 years. The initial suspect, Seidel, pled guilty to petty theft and received a sentence of 1 year in the county jail. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ken Peters, Virginia Gregg, Vic Rodman. Script by Jim Moser. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
King Size Fatima, made by the same people who make popular Chesterfield cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Each Thursday night, it's Counter Spy on NBC.
Present Pat Novak for Hire. Sure, I'm Pat Novak. For hire. Down around the Embarcadero, everybody's clawing his neighbor for a quick buck, and everybody knows it. Sure, if you call your work something else, who are you fooling? I rent boats when that pays off, and in between I do what I can to keep something on my hip besides a handkerchief. If you'd been around with me a few days ago, you'd have known that I was ready for work. A friend of mine called Ira had an inside tip on a hot horse in the third race at Bay Meadows. I'd gone down there to see if I could promote the news into currency. It was a good idea, except that my horse was still running in the third when they started the fourth. All I had left of my bankroll was an empty feeling. After checking through my pockets, I went out on a highway and started back to town. I was still unlimbering my thumb when a long, low roadster pulled up beside me. It was a very expensive job, including the driver. She was just about old enough to vote, and if she did, and the candidates weren't blind, they'd have spent all their time on her corner.
Is on my way, mister?
I'd sure like to be.
How do you know which way I'm going?
The scenery's good wherever it's located.
The shy type.
You want me to stammer?
No, but you could wait until we're introduced.
Will Novak clear the air any?
My name's Lydia Reynold. Novak. Haven't I heard about you somewhere?
If you have, you ought to change your friends.
Oh, you're sort of a lone wolf detective or something.
You got 3 votes there. One of them ought to win.
Well, if you're any of those, maybe I could use you.
You look like you could afford it.
Oh, that's no problem.
If money's no problem, you aren't really worrying.
What do you call fear?
Narrow it down.
I can't. Just, well, have you ever felt as if something were hovering over you and yet you didn't know what it was?
Could be a blackjack. A second zombie.
Will you help me?
All I can do for nightmares, lady, is keep you up late.
It's more real than that, believe me.
So's the money hiring me will cost you.
You'll do it then. You could be a sort of a bodyguard.
Do I get to fill in the pauses?
Well, at least I won't have to worry about you keeping your mind on your work. Wait here. I have to make a phone call.
She walked away, and it was smooth and easy to watch, like a bird gliding on a bit of wind. When she got out of sight, I began to think about the hire. I'd heard of rich dames doing crazy things, but this was crowding the record. Nobody hires a watchman to stand off a bad dream. I felt like a guy getting ready to fly with a pair of homemade wings. It could be thrilling. Then what else? The what else began to develop right away. A car pulled up near me with two men in it. One of them got out. A big guy with the kind of a face you see in ads for men's swimming trunks, handsome and a little vacant. He came over to the car. He wanted to talk.
Got a match, buddy?
Yeah. Here.
Thanks, buddy. It's a nice car you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Must have set you back $3 or $4 grand.
It's only money.
Yeah. What'd you say your name was?
If you're selling anything, I don't want it. Give me back my matches.
I didn't catch the name, buddy.
The wind's against you. Try shutting your mouth.
You have to be nasty.
You got the ways that make it come easy.
You know, I could teach you manners if I had time.
You ain't built to teach me anything I don't want to learn.
No, well, I can try. Starting with, what's this in my hand?
So you're loaded.
So let's drive down the road and see what else I can learn you. Like remembering your name, for instance. Head right into the city. You do know where the city is, don't you?
Look, sucker, if you're out to roll me, you grabbed the wrong goose.
Don't tell me you're broke.
Try the second $5 window down at Bay Meadows.
You're broke. And $3 grand worth of auto? That makes about as much sense as stuttering Dan O'Brien.
So you bet on the three-legged horse. Let's break it up and forget it.
We're coming into town now. I might as well write it out.
Besides, this ain't my crate. I thumbed a ride from a dame I was waiting for when you started waving around the artillery.
You're telling me her name's Lydia Reynolds. Look, drive up that alley before you get lost.
Hey, you knucklehead, it's a dead-end street.
That's all right. From here on, you're riding on a...
When I came to, it was raining. Not much. Just a faint drizzle. It felt nice on the back of my neck and my hair. As things came back into focus, I found out I was still behind the wheel. I was leaning like a flower a week after the wedding. My head felt big enough for a size 30 hat. I could count every pulse beat and aches. Didn't get any better when someone started shaking me. A big, rough hand. Would have been a gold mine for a rug cleaning outfit. I turned my head enough to see a flock of vest buttons bulging over a belt.
Come on, Novak. The show's a turkey.
Go away, Holman. This ain't an apple cart.
It's no good, Novak. You'll never make Broadway.
Stop shaking me. What do you think I am, a whiskey sour?
Don't worry. You haven't begun to shake. Wait till the judge starts to read the papers at you.
You think I stole the car?
There's that and
so they caught up with you. They took you off homicide and put you on a hot car detail. I can see now where insurance rates are going to zoom out of sight.
I caught you and the motor's still warm.
You couldn't catch a fever in a flu epidemic.
And while the body's still warm.
You couldn't find your way up an escalator. What'd you say?
The body. In the back of the car. And you hammed that act almost as much as you did that fake blackout.
She called it a nightmare. The body wasn't much to see, just a standard model citizen with a little too much weight and a little too little hair on his head. If he'd been anything special when he was breathing, it had all gone away like a shout in a high wind. Hellman went through the suit, but all that turned up was a hole in the pocket and some chicken feed change. I needed to find out what was going on, and I needed to find it fast. I figured a good place to start was to look up Lydia Reynolds. I'd taken her address off the car. It was a nice place, a cozy 16 or so rooms done in neat white marble. Set back from the rabble in St. Francis Woods behind enough lawn to outfit a golf course. A butler answered my ring, an easy 6 feet of well-collected muscles. He led me along a flock of Persian rugs. I ended up in a living room a little smaller than the Young Museum. Lydia was over by a window. She wasn't glad to see me. She wasn't mad either. Just polite.
Did you have a pleasant drive?
I'll settle for exciting.
Do you always steal cars like that, or is it something you just developed?
What am I supposed to do with that?
Is the question strange? If you knew my neurotic friend, you'd know I have to ask things like that.
Yeah, I met one of them.
I phoned the police about the car, but I'm glad you changed your mind.
Everybody helped. including a friend of yours who held me up, made me drive away, and then slugged me.
Friend of mine.
He knew you're a tall, handsome citizen with a loud voice and nasty manners.
You're describing most of my friends. That doesn't help at all.
This one likes jokes. He planted a corpse in the back of the car.
You're joking. Aren't you? I mean, this really didn't happen.
Now all you got to do is explain away my headache.
It means those fears I had weren't just my imagination.
Then what do you got?
That's a good question, my dear. Maybe you ought to think about it.
We were talking. Alone.
You're forgetting your manners.
Am I?
Introduce us, Lydia.
Mr. Novak, my uncle, Charles Reynolds.
And then you'd better go up and rest, don't you think?
I want to talk to Mr. Novak.
Tomorrow would be better. I'm sure Mr. Novak will excuse you.
I'll sit anywhere. It's not my ball game.
Charles. Someday, Charles. Excuse me, Patsy.
A drink, Mr. Novak?
Make it straight, for a change.
Perhaps I should tell you that I'm Lydia's legal guardian as well as her uncle.
The day's full of news.
Those fears of hers are really nothing, just her imagination. She's a very nervous, high-strung girl. Did you notice?
I didn't notice her try to climb up the walls.
Of course, it's not that bad. But I'll admit her imagination gives me trouble now and then.
The job's tough, but the pay's good.
I'll look after my niece. I hope it hasn't inconvenienced you any.
Not so far. She hired me. I'll stick around till she fires me.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
They used to say that about flying.
I told you my niece is highly neurotic. She's not responsible for her acts. I'm willing to pay whatever you think.
So she, so far. I'll leave it that way till she hangs up the phone.
You're wrong about that. My niece is not coming down again tonight. You might as well go.
Mind if I check that with her?
Yes, I do. Are you leaving, or will I have the butler show you out?
Never mind the muscles. I'll play your cards this time at least.
This time is the last time.
That card is still with her.
I tell you I run this establishment.
Yeah? I'm beginning to wonder how. The big butler showed me out. A nice guy to have around if you go for screens in the night. It was quiet and roomy outside. A big, peaceful sky with the moon like a washtub. Little piece of wind playing with the trees on the grounds. Like some old ghosts whispering together. I heard Lydia call the first time she tried. It wasn't much above a breath. She was upstairs at a window. She told me to go to the guest house set on the back of the lot, hidden away in a clump of trees. It turned out to be a little toy cottage like something out of a fairy tale. Lydia showed up while I was still fumbling with the door.
I'm so glad you didn't go away. What did my uncle tell you? Did he send you away?
You didn't have to push hard. I was ready to throw in my hand anyway.
But I need you. Don't you see I need you now more than ever?
I didn't contract to play ducks and drakes with a dead body, a muscle-bound butler, and an uncle who goes around saying goodbye.
But that's one of the reasons I need you. My father left me a huge fortune. My uncle's been trying for years to get his hands on it.
That gets even better. Next we'll be having poison in the highballs.
How do I know how far it'll go? Already he's tried to put me in an asylum.
Yeah. He was giving me that nervous talk about you.
You'll stay?
It's a job for the judge, baby.
All right. It's for the judge. And just stay and talk to me.
I don't know about that either.
Does it sound hard?
The last time we talked, someone else finished the sentences with a blackjack.
I can make better memories than that.
While we're in the files, how come the guy who slugged me knew so much about you?
Oh. His name's Post. They call him Two Spots. Do you have to talk about him?
I like lights when I'm ice skating.
Have it wait till morning? Don't answer. Maybe they'll go away.
Time to retire, Miss Lydia.
What do you mean, coming here?
Worried about your rescue, Miss. The doctor...
Get out of here! You hear? Leave me alone!
Very well, Miss, but the gentleman is leaving, and I thought maybe you'd like me to see you back to the house.
He isn't leaving. You're fired!
The gentleman's leaving, Miss.
And now I'm on your payroll. The joint's full of guys giving orders.
You want to walk out or
stumble. Make up my mind for me. I was doing all right while I stayed away from him. When he got in close, the show ended and the band went home. When I came to, the bump on my head was matching aches with my jaw.
You won that one the hard way, Novak.
You the prize? What are you talking about?
That dead body over there. You must be out for the limit tonight.
Oh, help me up. He's the butler. What happened to him?
He backed into a knife. It's illegal, you know.
Well, the town's full of knives. Anybody could get it to him.
I don't see any crowd around. But you're here, ain't you?
Where's the dame?
Why did you kill him, Novak?
Yeah, of course. But where's the dame?
There's something going on around here that I'm not in on. You seem to know all the turns. Open up, and I'm not fooling.
You got the story straight, Hellman. After I left you, I came out here to see the dame Lydia Reynolds. We were in here, and the play was beginning to warm up when the butler knocked and tried to throw me out. I took a swing, and he swung harder. You woke me up. The girl must have done it.
Oh, Lydia Reynolds?
What do you think I'm talking about? Hitting Lamar?
You might as well be, Bub. This way, it's your word against $8 million.
It got even worse when we went out to Lydia. Her uncle blocked us away from the door with a doctor looking over his shoulder. He said he followed the butler out to the guest house and caught Lydia as she ran out. He'd seen us fighting and started in to stop us when Lydia fainted. Then Hellman showed up with a stolen car. Reynolds talked in a very positive voice. $8 million worth. It takes more than an inspector's badge to interrupt that kind of talk. Hellman took it all down in a little book. Then he took me into the Kearney Street station and booked me on suspicion of 2 murders and a car heist. He was happy and helpful. He even sent out and got Jocko Madigan to come to see me. Jocko was an ex-medico and a boozer, but he was the best friend I had in town. If sympathy was a crowbar, I'd have been out of the place in 10 minutes.
Patsy, my boy, I've never seen you look more at home.
Go away, Jocko. You bother me.
Endurance vile, there must you wake and weep, and all your frowsy couching sorrow steep, to paraphrase Bobby Burns.
Go away, my headache.
I've come to offer my aid. Anything I can do for you, Patsy, say it and it's done.
You can't help me, Jocko.
Oh, don't tell me you really did it this time.
No.
Then why are you worrying? Have you no faith in justice?
You can put together a death judge and a bought jury. You can...
As bad as that?
Go away, Jocko. Leaving your beer for me.
Oh, this isn't like you, Patsy Novak. I've called you everything in the way of being a disgraceful citizen, but I've always admired one thing about you. You were a fighter. You never quit fighting.
How do you fight $8 million in a perfect frame-up?
$8 million? Oh, there isn't that much money.
Try and sell it to Lydia Reynolds.
Oh, is she the one who built the frame?
No, it's even better than that. I don't know who did it or why.
Oh, don't be mysterious, Patsy. I'm too old to play word games.
Look, Jocko, I was coming to ride in from Bay Meadows. Lydia picked me up. Then I was hijacked by a guy Lydia said could be 2-spot post. Slugged and left with a dead body in Lydia's car. I went up to see her about it. The butler cooled me. When I came to, he's dead.
Oh, the girl must have a hard time keeping friends.
She wanted to hire me for a bodyguard. She said she was being threatened, but she couldn't put her finger on it.
That shouldn't be so hard. She starts out with $8 million worth of bait, so anybody might try for that.
Kind of veiled.
Who's this 2-spot character? Anybody I know?
He's nobody we can use. I think Lydia dreamed him up.
Well, he might be worth looking up.
You're wasting your valuable drinking time, Jocko. You can't put your finger on a ghost.
Oh, you haven't had my experience with the little men, Patsy. So long, lover.
I sat there after Jocko left and tried to put together something I could use to tell my lawyer. I was still thinking it over when the guard came along and opened up my cage. When I got out to the desk, the sergeant told me Lydia had sprung me. She phoned in and said I couldn't have done it. She also fixed bail. I walked out of the place and started down toward Pier 19, but I didn't get far. A car pulled up. It was Two-Spot, and he still had his gun. I was tired of arguing, so I got in.
How do you like Los Angeles?
If I liked it, I'd live there.
It'll grow on you.
What's the caper post? You got a dream? Spread it out.
I got better than a dream, Novak. I got the best racket since Robin Hood.
Including dead bodies?
They make you nervous? My racket's better than that. I don't need you lousing up the act.
Now who's nervous?
I won't be long. I'm going to put you on a train for Los Angeles and give you $1,000. Stay down there till you spend it.
You're full of dreams.
Don't spend it too fast, Novak. You come scampering back here before the month's out, you're liable to wind up looking at the inside of a luggage compartment. Like the private dick did.
Oh, you know the guy, huh?
Here's the station. If you have any more questions, ask information. Remember, Novak, if you're tired of breathing, just show your face around town again before New Year's.
If I do, you'll be the first to know it. He followed me into the station and on the train. He stayed right by me until the thing started to pull out. Yeah, it was wonderful. I had $1,000, the name of the guy behind the killings, and a free ride to Palo Alto. When I got off the train down there, I phoned Hellman. He was as helpful as a fireman in a sorority house.
You're in Palo Alto? Good. Stay there.
Before you go out and arrest some more wrong suspects, maybe you'd like to know who did it.
You're full of news, Novak.
I guess you think you found him.
Am I calling for help?
You wouldn't know it if you needed help. The guy behind the caper is Two-Spot Post.
You figured that out all by yourself?
Lydia said it might fit him, but I needed proof. I got it.
You haven't got the right time.
Yeah? What's wrong with Two-Spot having something on Lydia? Something that'd quiet her if he tried to kidnap Grab.
Are you trying to tell me how Two-Spot works? We've known the guy for years. He runs a bowling alley and makes a little horse book on the side. Kidnapping isn't his style.
Did you ever hear his style's changing?
He has a $50,000 bowling alley, the Two-Spot in O'Farrell Street. He's not going to risk that.
You're going to sit around on your fat hips and let Lydia be snatched while you check on the tax rate of a bowling alley.
I know who did it, right, boy?
I just told you.
Not unless he's put on a lot of weight.
Who is it?
You know everything, Novak. I wouldn't think of trying to steer you.
Did you know that the body in the car was a private detective?
Yeah, so was the butler. Don't worry so much about things.
Who was it, Hellman?
And have you loused up the act? We got the guy covered like a blanket. The next false move he makes will be on his last.
And Two-Spot's on the town.
I hear Palo Alto's a nice place. Now, you just stay down there and look it over.
I'm going to look just far enough to find a car.
Listen, Novak. I don't want you to come around putting your big feet in the trap. Now, stay out of this. I'm warning you.
You ought to get a refit on your plate, Hellman. That sounded like you said you were warning me. I took a taxi back to San Francisco. The price is easy if you have $1,000. We drove up to St. Francis Woods. Just as we were approaching the Reynolds place, I saw Lydia walking along the sidewalk. She was wrapped up in one of those long capes with a hood. She was walking in a hurry. When I caught up with her, she seemed glad, but she didn't slow down.
Come on, Patsy. Walk with me.
You running after something or something after you?
Something's after me, Patsy. I'm frightened.
You're full of half-talk. Don't you ever open up?
I saw a man, at least a shadow of a man, hiding near a corner of the guest house.
Some more of those fears?
This man was real, Patsy. He was waiting for me out there. I said they're closing in, and they are.
You don't want my help.
But I do. I need help desperately.
Why don't you give me something to work with? All I get out of you is talk about goose pimples.
Oh, I'm tired, Patsy. Awfully tired.
What you need's a drink. Come on downtown with me. I want to look up a friend of mine named Jocko Madigan.
Can't we go to a bar?
You don't know Jocko. We flagged a taxi and beat around town for a while. I finally located Jocko at a Market Street trap up near the Civic Center. The place ran all the way through to the next street. I didn't pay much attention with Lydia headed for the back of the place. The joint had the kind of lights that made a girl want to fix her makeup. I was looking around for Jocko, and it was only by accident that I noticed Lydia walk right past the powder room and out the rear door. I started after her, and I wondered why I should. I figured if that was some more of her half-talk, she could have it all herself. I'd had enough for one day. I turned back to Jocko.
In walked a dead duck.
I'm out of jail, so you're crying.
You're out a girl, too. I saw you watching her leave.
Yeah, she's a restless type.
She dropped you like a leaf. Smart girl.
Her name's Lydia, the one I told you about. She sprung me out of jail.
Oh, I take back the part about her being smart.
I had 2-spot post bill for the part. Hellman says I'm crazy.
He could be right, you know. Why did you pull down your bets on Post?
All I had to go on was the fact that he was anxious to keep me out of town for 2 weeks. I could read something was on the fire. I figured he was doing the cooking.
You know, Patsy, I'd like to talk to that Lydia person. There's something fishy in her past. I'd like to know what it is.
With $8 million, she could afford to be careless.
Oh, this is something special. 2-spot ties into it somehow, and then there's that uncle of hers.
Just naming him won't put him in jail.
Well, there's a lot of temptation when you have $8 million to manage for a young girl. Think of what you could do if it all became yours.
You can't arrest a guy because he's dough hungry.
You know, Patsy, a few months ago, Lydia used to run around occasionally with 2-spot. He had a little bowling alley out near her home, and she used to go there.
So she needed exercise.
Then suddenly 2-spot sells the little place and moves downtown to this super layout of his. Where do you think he got the money?
You just said they ran around together.
Well, it could be that, but what if it's something else?
Is that all you're going to work with?
Oh, don't be abrupt. New bowling alley has a guy called Sackhead as manager.
Well, good for him, and goodbye.
Oh, wait a minute. Sackhead used to be a pin boy in the old bowling alley. When he was sober enough to stand up, that is. Now he's manager. There must be a reason.
That's better. Let's go see Sackhead. When we reached the 2-spot alleys, the place was almost deserted. It was too late for the earnest bowlers and too early for the drunks. When I asked the bartender for the manager, he began to gulp air and turn white. I knew I couldn't get anything from him, so I looked around the place till I saw the door marked office. I started that way, but it was a short trip. The bouncer dropped a cigar on the floor and cut across my path fast.
Where are you going, Bud?
I don't need any help.
It's private. You can't go in there.
I just want to talk to Sackhead. Look that up in your rule book.
He don't want to talk. He's out to lunch anyway.
Let me find out these things myself.
Nobody goes in there, understand?
Everybody's throwing up stop signs tonight. I can't win all the time. Let's get out of here, Jocko.
What's all the hurry? I've got to finish my drink.
Come on, now.
Oh, not even one for the road.
Hold on, Novak. It's bad for your heart.
You're bad for me all over, Hellman.
I thought I told you to stay in Palo Alto.
While you two argue, I'll just go back and finish my drink.
Stay here, Madigan. Now, what's the fast getaway all about?
You can pick up your bets about 2-spot not being the one.
Is he in there?
Yeah. Another night job.
Somebody must think it's still Thanksgiving.
Look, Patsy, I was sitting at the bar.
Quiet, Madigan. It's going to make it tough on you, Novak.
Not any tougher than that bouncer. He saw me go in.
If you weren't so busy being a wise guy, I tipped you off the 2-spot was a cold trail.
Listen, Patsy.
All right, Hellman, come out from behind that veil. You knew who did it all the time. Now name them.
What's hard about that? Reynolds, of course.
What do you got for proof? Some out of a dream book?
We checked up on those detectives who were killed. Reynolds hired them to work up a plan on Lydia. He wanted her jailed on suspicion of murder. That would give him control of the money, and
he killed 2-spot because he beat him bowling.
He hired 2-spot and some of his boys to do the killing. If those dicks began to turn up dead, we could get Lydia on circumstantial evidence.
It's too bad you two didn't wait a while to be born. They're making a better grade of cement now. Your brain...
It adds up pretty good, Jocko. If the killings were only on circumstantial evidence, Lydia wouldn't get the chair. They'd probably give her 20 years, and Uncle could keep all of the family funds.
I'm going out now to pick up Reynolds. I'd like to see either of you try and come along.
Well, what'll it be, Jocko?
A champagne highball.
Look, just because I'm buying
Guess who I saw when you were in Two Spot's office?
a bottle of scotch.
Yes, no, I also saw Lydia.
Lydia?
She ran out the side door.
That could mean anything.
She's crazy, you know. I could see it in her eyes. Right then she was crazy.
You think she did it?
Oh, I hate to break up your and Hellman's dream, but a doctor's supposed to know insanity when he sees it. Also, there was blood on her hand. A doctor's supposed to be able to identify that, too, if he's had the
But
proper
you can't be
training.
crazy. I was talking to her.
Oh, it could come and go. Besides, she's probably at the stage where drugs can still keep her calmed down. I'll bet that's what Two Spot had on her. She worked off the drug's effects while bowling when something happened that Two Spot witnessed. Maybe she killed a pinboy. That would fit. Sackhead seeing it, too.
Then she did all the killing.
Sure, and Two Spot was covering for her to keep the money coming in. You can't blackmail an insane asylum, you know.
Come on, we better warn Hellman.
Warn Hellman? If we do that, the killer might get away.
Come on, Jocko. If Hellman gets killed, they might replace him with a cop with brains. We grabbed a taxi. $10 worth of persuasion made him forget the color of some of the stoplights, and we were out there in no time at all. Even before we were out of the cab, I knew it was too late. I could see the guest house lit up in its own flames. The trees around it looked like black skeletons dangling in a firelight. We started running across the lawn, but Reynolds cut us off.
It's no good, Novak. There's nothing we can do.
Is it Lydia?
Yes. We tried to get in, but she's barricaded herself in an inner room. The heat drove us away.
That's a hard way to die.
I'm sorry I had to lie about the butler's death, put you on the spot like that. I knew she killed him. I was hoping I could get her in an asylum.
She had a rough shuffle. With all that dough, all she could buy was a black ace. The story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a narcotics detail. A steady supply of high-grade narcotics is finding its way into your city. For 2 months, you've been trying to run down the source. The first real break finally comes. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, October 8th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of narcotics detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Kearney. My name's Friday. It was 4:05 p.m. when I got to 318 West 1st Street, the first floor. Narcotics detail. Joe? Hi, Frank. You all threw up in court, eh?
Yeah, it went to the jury. I don't think they'll be out long.
Well, I hope they hook him this time. He's overdue.
I don't see how they can miss. You can't tell, though. Never know what a jury's going to do.
Yeah. What do you got here?
Felony car brought him in about a half hour ago. Pretty high.
What's he shooting?
H. Must have had a big pop. Can't talk to him.
Anything on him?
2 caps. Had him taped inside the collar of his shirt. Crime lab analyzed it. Same stuff we've been chasing. European. High grade.
Mm-hmm. He come up with anything?
Nothing. He talks a lot, but he didn't say anything. Why don't you take him on?
I'll give it a try.
Mr. Jennings, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
Well, how do you do, sir? Sure happy to know you, Sergeant. Have a chair.
Yeah, thank you. A cigarette?
Yeah, I don't mind if I do.
Here, I'll give you a light.
Thank you. By the way, Sergeant, if you have any influence around here at all, I'd sure appreciate it if you tell this young fellow here to relax. He worries too much. Keeps telling me there's something wrong.
Well, isn't there, Mr. Jennings?
Well, no, of course not. It's not that I don't enjoy the boy's company, but I've got an appointment. Very important one, 11 o'clock this morning.
That's so?
Yes, very important. I have to be there at 11 sharp.
You're a little late, aren't you? It's past 4 in the afternoon.
Oh, no, it couldn't be.
Clock on the wall right behind you.
Hmm? Well, what do you know about that? That time sure flies. Well, they'll wait for me. Well, I better get a move on. Sure glad to have met you, Sergeant. Glad to meet you too, young.
No, just a minute, Mr. Jennings. It's not that simple. You better sit down.
But I told you I have an appointment very important.
Sorry, it'll have to wait. Sit down.
All right.
How about it, Jennings? When did you have your last fix?
What do you mean, when did I have a fix?
You know what we mean. Your arm looks like a punch board.
Oh, the scars. Yes, of course. I take vitamin shots.
What's your doctor's name?
Dr. Young, Eldon Young, down on South Hoover.
You know his phone number, do you?
No, I don't. It wouldn't do any good to call him anyway.
No, why?
Well, he's not there. He's dead.
You sure of that?
Well, to be. I went to his funeral.
When did he die?
Oh, I don't know. 2 or 3 months ago. Sure was a nice fellow. Fine doctor.
That's a sample, Joe. Been rattling off like that ever since they brought him in.
Not the usual run. He's sure not seedy looking, is he?
Look, Sergeant, I don't think I quite understand this. What's this all about?
Mr. Jennings, you're hooked and you're hooked bad. When did you have your last fix?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't quite remember. I'd like to make it clear, though, I'm not a bum. I'm not addicted to the stuff.
You're not?
Really, it's the truth. I can take it or leave it alone. I take an occasional shot. That's about the size of it.
Where do you get the stuff, Jennings?
I told you, my doctor.
No legitimate doctor gave you the stuff they found on you. They don't dispense heroin. Now, how about it?
How about what, Sergeant?
You going to tell us the truth? Jennings?
Well, frankly, Sergeant, no, I don't think I will. I'm not an informer.
It's up to you, mister. We're going to find out sooner or later.
I'm sorry, you're not going to find out from me. Now, look, let's not get into an argument, shall we? I don't have anything against you. Matter of fact, I like you. I'd like to get along with you.
We're not going to argue, Jennings. It'd be useless to tell you that we're trying to help you.
Are you married? Do you have a family?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live?
Sorry, I can't tell you. I'm not dragging them into this. That's why I don't carry any identification.
All right, Jennings. You want to get your hat? Let's go.
Go? Where?
Main jail. We're booking you in.
Why? What for?
Possession of narcotics.
But I told you I'm not an addict. You can't keep me in jail. I only use it occasionally.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything wrong with that? Can't see any harm in that, can you? Are you listening?
Wait a minute. I'll tell that in the morning, will you? 4:38 p.m. The felony car officers who picked up the suspect, Jennings, took him to the main jail where they booked him for violation of the H&S Code, Section 11,500. He'd been checked through R&I, but he had no previous criminal record. Knowing that he was bound to become ill, he was ordered into isolation, and the jailer instructed to notify the doctor in attendance if Jennings needed attention. 5:15 p.m. We went over to the crime lab and checked with Jay Allen, who'd analyzed the 2 capsules found taped to the inside of Jennings' shirt collar. He told us it was the same grade of high-test heroin which had been found in the possession of other addicts during the past 2 months. We knew it was of European origin. We knew it was finding its way into the city. We knew it was being made available to addicts. We picked up half a dozen pushers in the last few weeks with heroin of identical quality in their possession. But the basic source of supply still remained unknown. We were convinced that none of the pushers knew who or what the ultimate source was. The following morning, after Frank and I signed in, we went over to the main jail, signed out the suspect, Jennings, for interrogation, and he was brought to the interview room. His face was white and he was trembling. It was only a matter of time before he got worse, when the withdrawal pain set in.
Morning, Jennings.
I got to get out of here. Nobody told me to be like this when I got started on the stuff. I can't stand any more of this.
Bad?
I'm going to die. I wish I could die. Why can't they give me something?
Well, we'll talk to the doctor. It's the best we can offer. He'll do what he can for you.
Can you get him now?
I'd like to ask you a few questions first.
Then hurry, will you? I'm sick, awful sick.
Where do you get your stuff, Jennings? What's the man's name?
I don't know. It's the truth. I don't.
How do you get your junk?
A fellow named Eddie, bartender. I give him the money. He brings the stuff back.
How much you pay for it?
$6 a cap. I don't know what he pays. I pay him $6.
You a user?
Says he isn't. I don't know. I think he is. How about that, doctor? I can't take this.
Where do we contact Eddie?
Bar on South Main near 4th. One with a big airplane on the sign.
What's his last name, you know? Eddie what?
I don't know.
What's he look like?
Tall. He's got blonde hair. Wears a big signet ring. Eddie, that's all I know. Good guy. He was trying to help me.
Any idea where he gets the junk?
I don't know, except one night I was with him.
Yeah?
Drove out to a little joint in Manchester, beer garden. He went in alone. When we got back downtown, he had the stuff. I don't know.
You know if he got it from a man who worked there, or do you think it could have been one of the customers?
I didn't see him. I didn't go in. I don't know.
You know anybody else who's in with this Eddie?
Anybody with $1? He'd do anything for money.
Eddie ever tell you where this junk's coming from? Who's bringing it in?
Oh, I asked him once. He got a little sore. Said, what do you care as long as you get yours? I don't know.
You cigarette, Jennings?
No. If I could just rest. If I could just let go. Can't you do anything for me? Why did they tell you it's going to be like this?
I'd like to have you help us. Now, as long as there are men like Eddie running loose, there's going to be men like you that he's going to feed on. How about it? Or anything else you can tell us?
That's all I know. I got the stuff from Eddie. Talk to him. No more questions, huh?
One more, Jennings, about your family.
Don't want to talk about it.
Your wife called. She found out you were in jail.
No.
She's coming down to see you.
She can't. I don't want to see her. Tell her not to come.
We can't stop her.
Caused her enough trouble. 20 years of it. First the booze, now this.
How long you been on it, Jennings?
A year and a half. Been downhill all the way. 3 kids. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll lose our house, lost my business already, all our friends. You don't know what it's like.
We got an idea.
No, you haven't. You got no conception. It's been hell. Nobody's gone through what I have, lost what I have. Suffering, year and a half of it. Really suffered. Nobody knew either. Nobody suffered the way I did. Nobody.
I can think of one.
What?
How about your wife? Jennings was returned to his cell. We contacted the jail doctor and briefed him on the suspect's condition. That afternoon, Frank and I drove to the bar on South Main Street near 4th, where we located the bartender, Eddie, whom Jennings had told us about. It was fairly apparent that he was under the influence of narcotics. We arrested him, took him back to the office, and began questioning him. A check with R&I showed that his true name was Eddie Hartsook, and that he'd had several prior arrests for possession of narcotics and one arrest on the ABC Act. Unlike Jennings, he broke almost immediately. He wouldn't confess to being a pusher, but he did admit that he was an addict and that he was supplied by a Jules Zimmerman, the owner of a German beer garden out on Manchester Avenue. He told us he'd met Zimmerman through a mutual friend who was now doing time in Folsom for robbery. He identified the friend as Pete Heimer. We checked with records and found it was true. Hartsook was booked in as a bag addict. Then we contacted Captain Larry O'Brien up at Folsom Penitentiary, who filled us in on Pete Heimer's background. After that, we checked R&I on the owner of the beer garden, Jules Zimmerman. We found he was registered as an ex-con from Minnesota, where he'd done time for burglary and grand theft. After a meeting with Captain Kearney, it was agreed that our first move was to get next to Zimmerman. I was to pose as a recent parolee from Folsom, a friend of Pete Heimer's. That night, I attempted to make my first contact with Zimmerman at the beer garden out on Manchester Avenue. Waiter? Yes, sir. Can I help you? Yeah, draft beer. Bring me a bag of peanuts, too. All right, sir. In just a minute. Is the boss around? Sir? Jules, the boss. Is he around? I'd like to see him.
I saw him around a minute ago.
Yeah, there he is. I'll tell him. Right. Yes, you want to see me? You Jules Zimmerman? That's right. Jack Bronson. I'm a friend of Pete Heimer's. He told me to look you up. I thought Pete was in Folsom. Yeah, he is. I was in there with him. His cellmate. I drew parole about a month ago.
Oh, I see. Mind if I sit down?
No, go ahead. Thanks, sir.
How's Pete making out? Doing all right?
Well, it's kind of rough. He's fighting time, doing it the hard way. He's not young anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's too bad. Nice fellow, Pete. Never did use his head, though. Here you are, sir. Draft beer, peanuts. Mr. Zimmerman? No, nothing.
Yes.
Where are you from originally, Bronson, L.A.?
No, Detroit.
What do you figure on doing now? Going back there?
No. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm still looking around. Can't go back to my racket, that's the thing.
That's so?
Yeah, they got my M.O. tag from here to Seattle.
What's that?
Safe. That's all I ever worked. That's what I thought.
Do you mind if I...
No, help yourself.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you've had tough luck. How much time you do?
Do 10, 7 in, 3 out.
You working now?
Yeah, lumberyard.
What's that?
I said a lumberyard.
Must be easy. Your hands don't show any work.
No, of course not. I don't go into that rough stuff. I'm a clerk over there. It's an easy touch, not much dough, though.
What are your plans? Got anything in mind?
Oh, I don't know. Money. Pete told me if I ever got disgusted to look you up.
No, I don't know. There's not much doing around here right now.
I really tried to make it when I came out this time. I'd play it straight.
You want some of these?
No, thanks. You go ahead.
Okay.
Tried to play it straight, stay on the street. It can't be done. I can't punch a clock. It drives me crazy.
Oh, I wish I had something for you. Don't know this thing. It's rough, Bronson. I got an idea how you feel.
I guess you ought to know. Pete told me. Said you fell twice back east. Minneapolis, wasn't it?
Pete talks too much.
Not only to the right people. Nice setup you got here, Jules. You must sell a lot of beer, huh?
I get by.
Orchestra, big layout, first cabin.
Well, we got pretty good business going.
What's the pity, huh, Jules? I need a job. I got to turn a buck.
I wish I had something for you.
Now, look, I didn't spend all that time in the joint with Pete for nothing. I know the setup. Pete says you're a right guy and do business with you.
What do you mean?
Just that. I got contacts up by Fresno, Red Mountain. Good contacts. A lot of money up there. Pete says you handle quality stuff, European. The stuff they're pushing up around Fresno is nothing. Real lousy. If we play it straight, we can both score. We score good.
I don't think I'll follow you, Bronson.
I think you do. If we get the right stuff up there at the right time, we can clean up. I know we can.
That's so.
I got a buddy who had a bummer ride to get up there 4 months ago. Now he's driving a Cadillac. Great business up there. It's fast and it's clean.
Hey, you want another beer?
I can't afford a stall in this, Jules. There's a lot of sucker money around. I want a piece of it.
Well, maybe we can talk, Bronson. I don't know. It might work out something. I'd like to get to know you.
What's the pitch? I said I was a friend of Pete's, didn't I? Check with him, or don't you trust him?
I haven't heard from Pete lately. I like to. Can't be too careful, you know. It pays to check things out.
All right, go ahead and check. I just haven't got the time to throw away, that's all.
I'm too crazy about these peanuts. Well, I'll tell you. I might send the wife up to visit Pete this Sunday. She doesn't know him, but she can ask him about you. I hope you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I just want to get going. If you haven't got any junk to push, put me next to somebody who has, huh? There's dough to be made, enough for both of us. I want to make it. We can't go wrong on the deal. You're smart enough to see that, aren't you? Talk fast, Boston. Look, you're not doing me any favor. I'm doing you one. If you're not ready to move on the deal, just say so. If you are, okay.
Well, it's a big rush. Take your time. Let's talk about it.
You already have. How about it?
How about what?
You got this set up. Now, when do I get an answer?
When I get one from Pete.
11:30 p.m. I traded small talk with the narcotic suspect, Jules Zimmerman, until closing time. Then I left the beer garden, took a streetcar back to the room I'd rented in a small third-rate hotel down on South Broadway. The following morning, I got in touch with the office, and they, in turn, contacted Captain Larry O'Brien at Folsom Penitentiary and acquainted him with the facts of the case. He was told that Mrs. Zimmerman would arrive at the prison to visit Pete Heimer the following Sunday, and that she had never seen Heimer before in person. O'Brien made immediate arrangements to have one of the officers at the prison pose as Pete Heimer and visit with Mrs. Zimmerman. Heimer himself would know nothing about it. I spent the next few nights at the beer garden trading more small talk with the suspect, Jules Zimmerman. The conversation included fishing, the liquor business, gambling, sports, everything but narcotics. I couldn't tell how I was making out with him, whether he was sold on me or not. I waited in my hotel room the following Sunday afternoon until Frank Smith called me from the office. He told me Captain O'Brien at Folsom had just contacted them. He said Mrs. Zimmerman had visited the prison, that she'd talked with the guard posing as Pete Heimer, and that apparently everything had gone off well. 9:30 the following Monday night. I went back to the beer garden and met with Jules Zimmerman.
Yeah, not a bad crowd for a Monday night. Usually a lot slower than this.
Well, I'll let you worry about that, Jules. We've been through enough small talk. Now, how about it? What's the answer?
Gotta be in a hurry, don't you? Relax. It'll work out.
Not without a push, it won't. Now, how about it? You said you'd have an answer tonight.
I got one.
All right.
It's no.
What?
The idea's all right. I just don't like the way you figured it, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't take the risk of getting the stuff up to Fresno. If you buy here. After that, I don't care. How you get up north is your work.
Well, if that's the way you feel, I'm not going to fight you on it. Your wife checked with Pete, huh?
Yes, sir. Pete gave the go-ahead. You're everything you say you are. Understand you did a couple of big favors for Pete up there.
Well, I'd expect the same from anybody of mine.
If Pete told the wife to spit a beef for him, could have talked, you kept your mouth shut. Only one more thing I want to know.
You asked enough, haven't you?
You ever chip you around with the junk?
Do I look like it? I wouldn't touch it for $1 million. I know the things I'm weak on. H isn't one of them.
Good. I don't want anyone around to shoot the stuff. Seen it happen 100 times. Cops fill them in and you're gone. They all talk when they get sick. Let's back this. Come on back to the office.
All right.
You say you got these friends who want to buy. How much money can they raise?
Well, it depends. How much stuff can you come up with? I mean, good stuff.
Everything I handle's good. Here, go ahead.
All right.
How about it? How much they want?
I told you, it depends. How much can you deliver?
That's up to the big man. I don't know how much he's got left. I figure stores are pretty low.
Thought you were the big man.
Bum guess. I handle the stuff for him, that's all. I get my cut.
Well, he must be big. Who is he?
None of your business. You don't make the deals with him, you make them through me.
All right, with me. You say you figure he's pretty low on the supply, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When's he going to have enough to deal? I mean, a big buy.
Maybe this Saturday, I don't know.
When will you know?
Saturday when I see it. How much cash can your friends raise?
10,000, maybe more, depends.
You have the money by then?
Maybe. I'll have to have a couple of days, contact my friends. Probably they'll want more. How's the stuff come in?
Why?
Well, what do you think? Why? I want the right slant. Where's it coming from? I'm not going to get loaded down with Mexican stuff. We can help it.
Don't worry. European comes in by ship.
Yeah, well, it doesn't gel for me. How do they get it by customs?
They don't. I do. By the way, you doing anything Saturday?
Why?
I'll take a little run in my fishing boat. One of the boys is sick. I need another deckhand. What kind of sailor are you?
I can make out.
All right. Come along. We'll do a little fishing. You might learn something.
Yeah.
Smuggling's not as tough as it looks.
This guy cold calls me during dinner, trying to convince me that his wonderful money management advice will make me rich. I say, I already have someone for that. He says, oh, yeah? What did your guy do for you? I say, well, let's see. He helps plan my investments for long-term growth. He administers my 401k, and he's got people managing my trust real estate holdings and dealing with all the zoning and entitlement stuff that drives me crazy. He can get me $1 million line of credit to help pay my capital gains tax, and he can occasionally talk some financial sense into my brother-in-law. Well, there's this pause on the other end, and then he says, do you need any mutual funds?
At City National Bank, we realize you do things not everyone can do, and you need things not every bank can deliver. Talk to a trusted investment specialist at City National, the way up. Visit us at cnb.com, member FDIC. Some investments are not FDIC insured, have no bank guarantee, and may lose value.
I'm talking to myself again. This time I'm talking car insurance. I don't want to think about car insurance. I know, but I need to pick a car insurance company, and I heard about Wawanisa Insurance. Yeah, from my sister Jan. Wawanisa. I hear they're really good. Oh, the best.
The Department of Insurance said they had no real complaints last year. 0 customer complaints. And Jan says they settled claims fast, fairly, and accurately. Great service. Just what I'm looking for. Wawanesa gets an A-plus rating from AM Best and has been in business for over 100 years. Wow. Service and stability. Did I mention that Wawanesa has really low rates, too? Jan's been saving money with them for years. Gee, with the money I'll save with Wawanesa's low rates, I'll have more money to spend on the kids. Okay, I'm going with Wawanesa. With Wawanesa, I'll never have to think about car insurance again. Check Wawanesa's low rates today by calling 1-800-438-4300 and ask about their homeowner and condo insurance, too. Call 1-800-438-4300. Wawanesa Insurance. Excellent service at an excellent price.
KNX 1070 News Radio.
Tuesday, October 13th, 9 a.m. I called the office and briefed them on the results of my conversation with the suspect, Jules Zimmerman, the night before at the beer garden. Captain Kearney put my partner, Frank Smith, on the phone, and we set up a meeting for that afternoon. 2:30 p.m., I left my hotel room and took a streetcar downtown to Pershing Square. Excavating work for the new underground garage at the square was still going on. A temporary wooden fence circled the construction area. I went to the southeast corner of the square where a courtesy stand had been put up for the sidewalk superintendent. I stood around with a dozen other people watching the excavation. I waited. 2:45 p.m.
Joe, how's it going?
Hi, Frank. Not bad.
Hey, they're moving this thing right along, aren't they? Looks like they got that hole just about done.
I think you're going to have to go deeper than that. It's kind of hard to judge from up here. Looks deeper than it really is. Well, I had some pretty good luck last night.
That's what I hear. How's it shape up?
He told me the stuff's been coming in by ship. Zimmerman did. I think maybe he's telling the truth.
How do you think they're working?
I don't know. He wouldn't say. Might have a chance to find out this Saturday.
What's the pitch?
Well, Zimmerman's got a boat. He offered to take me out this Saturday. He mentioned they're expecting a shipment of the junk the same day. Could be he's got some connection on one of the ships coming in from overseas. He takes his boat out, meets the ship, and somehow they transfer the junk without attracting attention.
Any chance you can get the name of the connection, if there is one, I mean?
I'm going to try. Supposed to be a big man in the setup, too. I haven't got his name yet, either.
Somebody over Zimmerman?
Yeah. You handle the details for Saturday, will you? I'll keep you brief.
Okay.
Check on all the ships that are due into Wilmington Friday and Saturday, will you? I'll find out where Jules keeps his boat moored, and you can make arrangements to have the dock area covered, and notify customs, too, huh?
Right. You any kind of a deal set up with Zimmerman yet?
Yeah, I'll buy for $10,000. I'm supposed to be making it for friends up in Fresno. Tell the captain I'll need some dough.
How much?
Well, you can rake together 1,000 if you can. You know, small bills, make it look big.
Right. I'm a little worried, Joe. Things seem to be rolling out too fast.
How do you mean?
Possible Zimmerman might be wise. Maybe he's just stringing you along. You're not going to be able to follow you out in the bay, not without tipping the whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to be strictly on your own on that boat. If Zimmerman's wise, he and the gang will be in a perfect spot. Maybe we could set it up to have a boat standing by if you need help, maybe half a mile away or so.
Yeah, might scare them off, ruin the whole deal, Frank.
Yeah, that's the trouble, Joe. If they're wise and they get you out on that boat, they got you cold. They won't give odds on your chances.
Well, then we're even. I'm not giving any on theirs. For the rest of the week, I spent the days in my hotel room and my nights at the beer garden setting up the buy with Zimmerman. Thursday night in Zimmerman's office, we agreed on the final details for the buy. In the process, I succeeded in finding out the plan for the meet. At 2:30 Saturday morning, Zimmerman, 2 of his gang members, and myself would board his boat at a private dock in the San Pedro area and proceed 5 miles out from shore. How the actual transfer of the narcotics was supposed to be made, I still couldn't find out, but I did learn that Zimmerman's main contact on the deal was a Marcus Torricelli. He was supposed to be a steward aboard an inbound freighter. The next day, I relayed the information to the office and gave him a final briefing on the plans for the meet as Zimmerman outlined them to me. Saturday, 2:30 a.m. Zimmerman and I, along with the 2 members of the gang, boarded his boat at the private dock and proceeded out to sea. It was a fairly new boat, well appointed, a 38-foot motor cruiser. The 2 men kept busy above deck. Zimmerman and I played cards, talked, and drank beer down in the cabin. 5 a.m.
2 pair of queens up. You do better?
Well, you dealt it. 3 trays. Had enough?
$40 worth, plenty. Want another beer?
No, I got a headache. What time you got?
Later than I thought. It's 1 after 5. Let's go topside, get it. About time we start looking around anyway. Well, I better get up there and check our course.
All right. Sure a nice boat you got, Jules. Just set you back plenty, huh?
Wouldn't believe it. I got it insured for $20,000, cost me $500.
You paid $500 for this?
And a society woman owned her husband, left it to her. She got hooked.
Oh.
One of my best customers. Spent everything she had on the junk. I got this for $500 worth of H, high grade.
What's she do for stuff now?
She doesn't need it. She's dead. Really a nice boat. Never enjoyed anything more in my life. Just a minute.
What's the matter?
Yeah, must be it. Uh-huh.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that freighter. A couple of points off starboard.
Oh, yeah.
George? Hey, George.
Yeah, Jules. Okay, I see it. Want a signal now?
No, hold on. Let's make sure. Hand me glasses there, will you?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Have a look here.
What's pitch?
Just a minute. Yeah, Panamanian flag. That's it. Reynold. All right, George, let's try. Swing around.
Okay, Jules.
Give the rudder hard right. 3 complete turns. Keep astern of her.
Right. Neat setup, Jules. What happens now?
Another pair of glasses there. Watch for yourself.
All right. Delivery comes from the ship, huh? Big boy on board?
That's right. On board here.
You really had me fooled. Let's keep it that way.
Tell you the truth, I thought you had us figured.
No, I didn't. I'll swear with you. You got a good front, Jules. Keep it that way and you'll be hard to make.
I'm on the home stretch. You're not going to make me. 2 more trips and I'm getting out. Then I really go fishing.
There he is, Jules. Back on the stern. Gonna dump it?
All right, keep an eye out. Hey, train your glasses on the stern of that freighter.
Yeah? What about it?
Just a minute. Now, you see it? Now?
Oh, yeah, man coming out, huh? Looks like he's dumping some garbage over there.
That's right. Don't watch the man, watch the garbage. It doesn't go through customs.
Pretty smart. That's your contact, huh?
Yeah, Marcus. Good boy. Hasn't failed yet. All right, George, move in, get the net. Ready for the pickup?
All ready, Jules. Tell you, I just can't get over it. It's sure smart. How do you keep the junk dry?
No problem. Just dump the package over along with the garbage. Waterproof wrapping. Keep your eye on it, that's all.
Yeah, I got it spotted.
All right, George, hand down the net.
Here you go.
Yeah. All right, coming alongside. Hold it steady. I got it. All right, let's go. George, let's go.
Okay.
All right, Bronson, down below.
Okay. Sure make it look easy.
All it takes is a little savvy. Now, let's have a look here.
Ping pong balls. What's the pitch there?
You ever hear one sinking?
Oh, yeah, sure.
3, 4, yeah. All here. Good delivery. Hey, Bronson, your share. 10 grand worth. How about the money?
How about a look?
Suit yourself. All right?
Okay, fine.
Well, bet the money?
I don't know. I'll give you 1,000 now.
What do you mean 1,000? There's 10 grand here. That's what you wanted.
Take it easy, will you? How'd I know what I was getting into out here? Could have been a heist. I couldn't bring all the dough along.
I want the money.
I told you I'll give you 1,000 now. You get the rest when we get in.
Wait, there's something wrong here. I don't like this. I'll call George. We'll head out again.
Relax, will you, Jules? There's nothing wrong.
Don't try to calm me. I'm not taking a chance. There's something wrong.
All right, hold it right there.
I'm calling George.
Call him loud first time. You won't get a second one.
Nice gun.
Fuzz.
Lousy.
Now, you go back and sit down. No, right where you are. Hands on the table.
Look, Bronson, we got time to talk this out. I got a big investment here. I got a lot to lose. All you have to lose is a pinch.
You keep your hands on the table, will you?
I'll make it right by you. You won't be sorry. I'm a wealthy man. How much you want?
Keep your voice down.
Believe me, I'll make it right to you. You said you liked the boat, didn't you? You can have it, huh? Everything with it, okay?
No deal, Jules. It doesn't smell any better than your delivery.
What?
Garbage.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
Jules Zimmerlin, his contact Marcus Torricelli, and the other 2 members of the narcotics gang were filed on in the district attorney's office for violation of the State Health and Safety Code, Section 11,500, 1 count. They were found guilty and received sentences as prescribed by law. The violation carries a penalty of imprisonment in the state penitentiary for not less than 5, nor more than 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, defense of our country against aggression abroad and inflation at home depends on our ability to fill both our military and civilian requirements. All Americans must work together. Remember, the better we produce, the stronger we grow.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police
Hey, Jerry, come here. I want to... Oh, George, you shouldn't have walked between Jerry and me.
Oh, I'm sorry, fellas.
Wilford, your bread and butter, Dan.
Bread and butter.
What goes up in the chimney?
Smoke.
What do you smoke?
Chesterfield.
Right, and that's our bread and butter.
Which means that Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis Show. Listen, Chesterfield, by Chesterfield regular acting price. Either way, the best of both. There's possible smoke for all you folks. Round off for Chesterfield. Round off for Chesterfield.
And do it today.
As now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring you our master of ceremonies, Dean Martin.
Well, hi there, everybody. Here it is. Time to do our weekly Tuesday night sounding off for Chesterfield. My partner, Jerry Lewis, will be bounding in on the next pogo stick. So while we're waiting for the boisterous little bounder, what do you say we start things humming with a tuneful little earful of music? So, Richard, it is you is or is you ain't my conductor. Is you is all that you ain't my baby. The way you're acting lately makes me down. You is still my baby, baby. Seems my flame in your heart's done gone out. A woman is a creature that has always been seen. Just when you're sure of one, you find she's gone. Made a change. Oh, if you is all, if it ain't my baby. Maybe, baby, found somebody new. Or is you ain't, or is you is my baby. Folks, and right now...
Shut the window, lock the door, they're after me,
Oh, that's Jerry Lewis. All right, now, Jerry, you just calling yourself down. Now, who's after you?
The finance company, they want to take back my arm.
Oh, now, wait a minute. What makes you think the finance company wants to take back your arm?
I missed 2 payments on my vaccination.
Oh! You know, Jerry, I find out new things about you every day. I know all about the 6 years we've worked together, but what about your childhood?
Well, when I was born, I was very young. I was nothing years old. And until I was 5 years old, I couldn't see.
Couldn't see?
No, my mother was nearsighted. She kept diapering the wrong end.
I imagine your father must have had some plans for your future. Tell me, Jeff, when your father first saw you, what did he want you to be?
Somebody else's son.
Besides that, what business did he want you to go into?
The same thing as my uncle.
You mean your artist uncle, the one who makes the hand-painted matzo balls?
No, Uncle has Patsy. He's an inspector in the Tiddlywinks factory.
Sounds like a civil service job. An inspector? In a Tiddlywinks factory?
Oh, he was a specialist, you understand. It was his job to decide which were a boy tiddlywinks and which were a girl tiddlywinks.
You mean there was a way he could tell the difference between the guys and dolls?
Oh, to be sure. As the tiddlies came down the assembly line, my uncle would wink at them.
And the tiddlies that winked back
was
the girl. Yeah, I never thought I'd wind up working with someone who comes from a family of tiddlywinks.
See, Martin, you've insulted my family, and we Lewises don't take these things lightly. We're a proud clan, and I therefore challenge you to a duel. You may choose your own field of honor.
But, Jerry, I don't have any field.
Then we're even. I don't have any honor. Here's my card.
Your card? What's this thing here?
That's the family coat of arms. 2 cross salamis on a field of chopped liver.
Now, look, Jerry, you don't mean a real duel with pistols, do you?
Wait. Do you understand? We shall meet tomorrow morning at dawn. And if I'm not there by 6 o'clock, start without me.
Yeah, you must be kidding about all this.
Hardly, Mr. Martin. We shall settle this insult in blood. I'm going now.
Where?
To get some.
I'll be seeing you.
What?
I said I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
In every lovely summer's day.
And everything that's light and gay.
I'll always think of you that way.
I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is through,
I'll be looking at the moon.
I'll be Well, friends, you know there's nothing quite so blue as the blues when they're set to music. But when a songwriter stirs up the usual blues and throws in a few sentimental wedding bells for good measure, he's liable to have cooked up one of the season's top-hit blue ballads. And here it is. I went to your wedding. I was dreading the thought of losing you. The organ was playing. My poor heart kept saying, your dreams were true. Your mother was crying. Your father was crying. And I was crying too. The teardrops were falling because we were is Mr. Lewis.
As you recall, you have insulted my family, and I challenged you to a duel. However, we'll have to call off the duel because of something I just found out.
What is that?
I'm a coward.
Well, it's just as well we called it off, Jeff. If we didn't, we might have been arrested. After all, we have laws in this country. And tonight, I've invited as our guest a star who is a staunch supporter of law enforcement on his own shows. A dynamic young personality of radio and TV, the star of Dragnet, Jack Webb! Jerry, this is Jack Webb from Dragnet TV.
Well, how do you do? I'm Jerry Lewis from Newark, NJ.
No, Jerry, I'm from the television show, Dragnet.
Oh, I saw you last week on a new set Dean gave me for Christmas.
Jerry, that wasn't a TV set I gave you. It was a washing machine.
No wonder the cops and robbers were chasing each other in their underwear.
I'm sorry you missed the real thing, Jerry. It was the story of a policeman who guarded the catch of the fishing fleet.
Yeah, it was called the Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
The Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper?
You heard him there, the Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
Now, the villain was a camper named Cooper who worked in the bottle factory. First as a corker, then as a capper. Yeah, you see, the fishing boat was a clipper, and the thief was killed in the church steeple. There was a big bell up there, and he was clobbered with a clapper.
Wow, the Cape Cod Flipper Steam.
What, Jerry?
We couldn't get Sam's pay?
No. I invited you here to see if you could help me. After all, we have something in common. Our sponsor.
Yeah, that's right, Dean. On Dragnet, I work for Chesterfield, and on your show, you work for Chesterfield.
That's right, Jerry. We're both working for Chesterfield.
Sometimes I wish we were working for money.
Now, Jack, here's my problem. Jerry tells me to a duel, and, well, I'd sure hate to put a bullet between his eyes.
Well, that's impossible, Dean. Between his eyes, there ain't room for a bullet.
Because I have a very skinny head.
Yes. Jerry, look, we have laws against dueling, same as we have laws against speeding. A car can be a very dangerous weapon.
I'll say, yesterday I was crossing the street when I saw a car coming at me. I ran up 3 flights of stairs into my apartment, rushed into the closet, and locked the door.
What happened?
He got me anyway.
A thing like that calls for at least a ticket.
You did? I paid a $10 fine.
You paid a fine for what?
Running without a license.
That's terrible, Jerry. What happened to the driver of the car that hit you?
Nothing, Dean, but he won't get away.
Well, you mean you got his number?
No, but I'll never forget his laugh.
You'll never forget his laugh.
Pardon me, sir. Would you do that again?
Certainly.
Mr. Webb, would you please get your car out of my closet?
Stop it, Jerry. If anyone looks out for public safety, it's Jack Webb. Millions of people listen to and watch his show every week.
Well, thanks, Dean, but it's the kids I'd like to reach. Unfortunately, most of them are only interested in fairy tales.
Well, tonight, why don't you do a fairy tale as you would do it on your Dragnet show?
Well, that's swell. I'd like to, but I'm not prepared.
We are. Fenneman, come here, you old hound dog.
The Chesterfield much milder players bring you king-size Dean Martin and Jack Webb with regular-size Jerry Lewis. In a hastily rehearsed play about the 3 bears, our version of Dragnet concerns a blonde moll called Goldilocks, who woke up with not one curl of her golden tresses out of place. And it's entitled Hairnet.
This is the city. There's nothing around here but chipmunks, rabbits, trees, forests. This is the city. My name's Friday. I'm a cop. I wear yellow shoes, an Argyle beret, a plaid coat with satin lapels. I'm a plainclothesman.
Friday's younger brother. My name is Thursday. I'm a cop, too. All day long, I pound the beat. I make my own board.
I'm Friday's older brother. My name is a week from Tuesday. I'm a special agent for the Crime Commission. For every crime, I get a 10% commission.
Hello, homicide. Thursday speaking. No, Saturday and Sunday are gone for the weekend. What's that? I'll get the police microphone. Calling all cars, calling all cars, calling car 84, Officer Farmkist. Wipe your windshield. Someone is stealing your radiator cap. That is all.
Morning, Third.
Hi, Fry.
Anything new in the Three Bears case? They found out who tasted the little bear's porridge yet and made it all gone?
No, but I brought in our chief suspect, Goldilocks. I talked to her alone for an hour.
Does she know anything?
She does now.
Hi, Fry. Hi, Thurs.
Hi, week from June.
I just found a body out in the street.
Good. You may keep it for your honor.
But it was Goldilocks.
Goldilocks?
Yeah, she was found wearing a derby and slacks.
Well, at least she died like a man.
Here's the hospital report on Father Bear. He's dead. They just performed the autopsy.
What did he die from?
The autopsy.
Hello? Homicide, Friday speaking. No, hi, Wednesday. Okay. Mama Bear's been murdered, too. She was pushed into a freezing vat at the popsicle factory.
Look, a report's coming in on the teletype. It's about the baby bear. It happened again.
You mean somebody tasted his porridge?
Worse than that. Somebody pinched his feet.
Sounds like the work of a Maroon gang. Let's go to the bear's house and investigate.
So we climbed into the car, and I got behind the wheel. I knew we were heading for trouble. I can't drive. It was really very foggy, so I followed the white line on the road. I drove for 20 miles, and then I found out what I was following wasn't a white line. It was a good humor truck with its vanilla leaking.
When we got to the bear's house, I peeked through the keyhole with one eye. I saw something very strange with my other eye. While I was speaking, someone rapped the door around my head. In here, Furs, and week from. This is where the bears live.
How do you know this is the place where the bears live?
Look what's on the floor, a people skin rug.
And there's little baby bear. He's been murdered.
Yeah. His body's in a strange position. His back is arched and his legs are sticking up in the air. How do you figure it, Thurs?
Obvious. He was beaten to death with a contour chair.
Wait a minute. Are we sure this is the baby bear? There was something strange about the corpse. I checked the bear's fur more closely. It wasn't a bear at all. It was a mink-dyed halibut. I thought I smelled something fishy. Yeah, well, the killer must still be here. The body's still warm.
It should be. It's on the stove.
For a moment, I thought I had it. I'll tell you what. You examine the body for a bullet and then check with ballistics.
What's ballistic?
Well, I don't know, but on Dragnet we always say that.
Oh.
I'll search the closets for the killer. Nobody there. Nobody there. Nobody there.
searched high and low, but there were no more jokes left in the house, so we decided to search the barn.
It's awful dark in this barn.
Well, hold my hand, sir.
Okay, Fry. Hey, Fry. Fry, where are you?
I'm over here.
And whose fingers am I holding?
Hey, I think I got the killer here.
I'll shoot. Don't shoot, I'll confess.
Who are you?
My name's Cooper.
Oh, you're the camper from the Cape Cod Tipper Keeper Cooper Keeper.
Yeah, the fellow who works in the bottle factory as a corker and a capper.
No, I used to. Now I work in a run factory as a carpet clipper.
A carpet clipper? I'm letting you go.
You're letting the killer go? Why?
It's easier than having to say this is the Cape Cod Camper Cooper Corker Capper Capper Carpet Clipper Keeper Capper Cooper Cape
You did a swell job. You can sing for me anytime.
Thanks, Jack, and you can guess for us any time, too. How about that, Jerry?
Splendid, old chap, splendid.
Say, look, how about you boys having lunch with me sometime?
Love to.
Not me. I went to a restaurant today, ate a businessman's lunch, and was thrown out.
You were thrown out for eating a businessman's lunch? Why?
The businessman wanted to eat it himself.
Look, Jack, I know you've got to be coming along now, but don't forget your job, you know. Get him.
Yes, sir. Get everybody to change to Chesterfield. Friends, Dean, Jerry, and I wouldn't ask you to try Chesterfield if we didn't know Chesterfield is best for you.
That's because they're first to give you scientific evidence on the effects of smoking.
And that's because only Chesterfield gives you premium quality in both regular and king size.
That's right, folks. Chesterfield is best for you. Regular or king size. They give you all the pleasure the modern cigarettes can give.
So your job, get 'em. Get Chesterfield today.
Well, so long, boys. It was swell being here. Good night.
Good night, Jack, and thank you so much. Jack Webb.
The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, king size, extra mild and soothing, brings you Dragnet on both radio and television.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. An unidentified man is abducted from a downtown street. The scene is checked where the man was reported taken. Bloodstains are found on the sidewalk. The abductors escaped in a gray sedan. No one saw the license number. Your job? Get him. Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
Yes, compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs, 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Buy Fatima in the bright, sunny yellow pack.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, March 18th. It was overcast in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Bribe. It was 6:48 p.m. when we got to the corner of 11th and South Pierce Street, the 797 Club.
Sorry, no more service tonight. Closing up.
Your name, Leon Morley?
Yeah, I can't serve you any drinks, so closing up.
Police officers, Mr. Morley. I'd like to talk to you a minute if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you were after a drink.
We were just talking to the officers in the radio car up the street, the car that answered the call out here tonight. They told us you were one of the people who saw what happened.
Well, yeah, I guess I did. I saw part of it anyway. Lousy deal. Kind of thing makes your ulcers pop. That's why I'm closing down early, going home.
We're following through in the investigation, Mr. Morley. I'd like to have you tell us everything you know about it, if you would, everything that you saw.
I told the cops in the radio car everything I know. It was about 6 o'clock, and I heard this big commotion out in the street. I didn't know what it was. Sounded like somebody was hurt. I went out and took a look. Marie in the beauty shop next door, she was outside rubbernecking, too. She saw as much as I did. You talked to her?
Yes, sir, we have. She wasn't too clear on some of the details. Maybe you can straighten it out for us.
I'm glad to if I can. What do you want to know?
You mind telling us in your own words just exactly how it happened? I mean, how you saw it?
Well, there's not an awful lot to it. I was working behind the bar here, and it was around 6 o'clock, like I say, maybe a couple of minutes after. I was just fixing up a round of drinks for some fellows when I heard this noise outside.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it was at first. It sounded like somebody screaming like they were hurt.
You said you heard this commotion outside the bar about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I didn't go out right then. I finished mixing the round of drinks. First, I thought the racket was just a couple of early drunks, but it kept on. A man screaming. It got louder, and I decided to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and looked down the street a couple of doors, down toward the corner.
Which corner is that, Mr. Morley?
The nearest one, down to the left. Here, I'll show you.
All right, fine.
I didn't know what was happening. Terrible sound. Man screaming at the top of his lungs.
You recognize who the man was?
No, I didn't. Never saw him before. Didn't get too good a look at him anyway. It was getting kind of dark. Here, let me show you. Over here by the window.
Fine.
I see it was right down there, just next to that mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
These two guys had a hold of the man who was screaming. They were trying to drag him into a car, a gray sedan. The man was trying to fight him off.
Can you describe any of these three men for us?
No, I couldn't be sure about it. Like I say, it was getting kind of dark. Well, you can see for yourself they were about 75 or 100 feet away. Mm-hmm. This man they were trying to drag into the car, he kept screaming, "Leave me alone, you can have the money. Leave me alone, you can have my car." Looked like he was hurt to me, blood on his clothes.
Didn't anybody try to help him?
Well, you know how this neighborhood is. When there's trouble, they all cut out. They don't want to get involved. It happened pretty fast anyway. These two guys got this man in the back seat of the car, and the big guy got in the back seat with him. The smaller guy got in the front seat, and they took off.
Now, which way did they go, Mr. Morley?
Straight down the street there. It turned right at that corner.
Mm-hmm. Did you happen to see the license number?
No, I thought of it, though. They didn't turn the car lights on and went by pretty fast, too. I couldn't get a good look at it.
Was it a California plate, do you know?
Oh, yeah, I noticed that much. That's about all, though.
What kind of a car was it?
Like I told you, a gray sedan, 4-door. I couldn't tell the make. Fairly new car.
Well, did you notice anything outstanding about the car? Anything at all?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean outstanding?
Well, special markings of any kind. Anything unusual. Maybe some of the accessories. Spotlight? Anything like that?
No, nothing I noticed. The rear bumper was bent out, I think. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure of it.
Rear bumper?
Yeah. I saw it when they drove off. They drove right past the place here.
Well, how about the men, sir? Can you describe them at all?
No. One was pretty tall and thin. The other one was smaller. About the same build on the thin side. They sure must have worked that guy over. He was all bent over. Looked like he was holding his stomach. Stains all down the front of his suit. On the sidewalk, too. I guess you saw that.
Yes, sir, we did. Now, you're sure that you've never seen any of these men before? Nothing familiar about them at all?
No, sir, not to me. I think if I saw him before, I'd know it. Oh, just a minute. It's probably the wife. Excuse me. Be right back.
Yeah, sure. What do you think, Joe?
Well, it doesn't look too good. Stains on the sidewalk down there. If it was just a robbery, why'd they take the guy with them?
Me. Possibly might have recognized him.
Well, maybe you got some, but I hope you're wrong. If he can make the hood, good chance they're not going to turn the man loose alive.
Sergeant.
Yeah.
It's your office on the phone. I want to talk to either one of you.
Oh, I'll get it, Joe.
All right, thanks, Frank.
Phone straight back, Sergeant. Enter the bar.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Look, Sergeant, I got to have something to quiet my nerves. How about you? Want a drink?
No, thanks. Besides the woman in that beauty shop next door, Mr. Morley, did you notice anyone else around that saw what went on?
No, as far as I know, Marie and I were the only ones. Just like I told you, when there's any trouble around this neighborhood, they get off the street quick.
You can't think of anything else that might give us a break on this? Anything at all now?
Wish I could. I think I told you just about everything. Sure feel lousy.
Joe?
Yeah.
I was talking to Harry.
Yeah?
1A1 found the car, gray sedan.
Where'd they find it?
3rd and Bixel. It was empty. Key still in it.
You sure it's the right car?
Bloodstains in the back seat.
7:18 p.m. Frank and I left the 797 Club, got in the car, and drove down to 3rd and Bixel, where the abandoned gray sedan had been located. It matched the same general description of the abductor's car, a 4-door gray sedan, late model, with a damaged rear bumper. Dean Bergman from Leighton Prince dusted the car and succeeded in raising a half a dozen fingerprints, which he took back to the office for possible identification. The crime lab crew went over the car for additional physical evidence. The stains found on the back seat were identified as having been made by human blood. The white slip attached to the steering post showed the car was registered to a Kenneth L. Gorman at a Canal Street address. Before Frank and I left the scene, we got a report that approximately 20 minutes prior to the time the gray sedan had been located, another car had been stolen. It was a maroon, late model club coupe, license 7-Tom 7972. It had been taken in the same neighborhood, less than 2 blocks from where the gray sedan was abandoned. A broadcast and an APB was gotten out on it immediately. 8:05 p.m. After checking by the office, Frank and I drove down to check on the home address of the registered owner of the gray sedan, Kenneth L. Gorman. It was a white wood-frame cottage at the upper end of Canal Street. The woman who answered the door identified herself as Mrs. Elsie Gorman, a small middle-aged woman, blue eyes, partially graying hair.
No, I'm sorry, officers. My husband isn't home right now.
Where is he, Mrs. Gorman, do you know?
Well, he went downtown to see a friend of his, business appointment. Is there anything I can help you with?
Are you expecting your husband home pretty soon, ma'am?
Yes, I am. Matter of fact, he should have been home long before this. I don't know what's keeping him. Told me he was going downtown to collect some money a friend of his owed him. Said he'd be right back. I don't know what could be keeping him.
When do you leave the house, ma'am?
About 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's almost 8:30 now. It could be he stopped to have a beer with his friends. He usually phones, though, if he's going to be late. I don't understand these men sometimes.
You and your husband own a car, Mrs. Gorman?
Yes, we do. My husband has it right now. Why?
What kind of a car is it, ma'am?
A 49 Chevy sedan.
Gray color, 4-door?
Yes.
License number 7T7972?
Well, yes, I think that's it. Why? What's the matter? Something happened?
Nothing to get worried about, Mrs. Gorman. We located the car in the downtown area, parked on a side street. The keys were still in it. Thought we'd check on it.
Where was it parked?
Near 3rd and Bixel.
Well, that can't be right. This man my husband was going to see has his store on Alameda. It's on Alameda between 9th and 10th. No reason for Kenneth to drive the car way down on 3rd Street.
Possible he might have had another business appointment down there, ma'am. Maybe something he didn't mention to you.
Well, I don't know. I suppose it is possible. You'd think he'd call, though. He usually does when he's going to be out late like this.
What about this man your husband was going to see, Miss Gorman? You happen to know who he is?
Yes, Fred Bernard. He's in the sheet metal business. Has his shop on South Alameda. He owed my husband $300. My husband went down this afternoon to collect it.
He a friend of your husband's, is he?
Oh, yes, they're good friends. Fred and my husband have done business for years.
There wasn't any ill feeling between them about this debt?
No, of course not. It was just a bill for some materials. Why do you ask that?
Just routine questions, ma'am. Can you think of anyone at all who might have a quarrel with your husband? Somebody who has a grudge against him, maybe?
No. Why are you asking questions like that? Is something wrong? Something you're not telling me about?
No, ma'am, it's just a routine check, Miss Gorman. Nothing to worry about. I want to make sure everything's all right, that's all.
The way you talk, it isn't all right. It's far from right. It's never gone this long without calling me. There must be something wrong.
No use getting yourself all worked up, ma'am. You admit your husband might have had another appointment after he left Bernard.
By the way, have you checked with Mr. Bernard yet, ma'am?
No, to tell you the truth, I haven't. I don't usually like to call my husband when he's out on business. I don't like to bother him. This is different, though. I think I'll call Fred Bernard right now.
It's a good idea. Do you mind if we wait, ma'am?
No, not at all. It'll only take me a minute. Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Doesn't look too good, does it?
Car's abandoned, stains in the back seat. Man's late in getting home. It's all there.
Could be anything, couldn't it?
Doesn't look good.
Sergeant?
Yes, ma'am.
I just talked to Fred Bernard. He said my husband's been there and left.
What time did you leave Bernard?
About 3:15, 3:30. Fred Bernard paid my husband the $300 he owed him, and my husband left. Fred told me my husband asked him if he wouldn't have a glass of beer with him, but Fred said no, he was busy. So my husband said all right, he was going to have a beer at home. Told Fred he was going right home. That was at 3:15 this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
There must be something wrong, I know it. It just isn't like my husband. He wouldn't leave the car like that. If he was late, at least he'd call me. Oh, would you excuse me again? I've had the dinner on the stove and boiled away to nothing. I want to turn it off.
Yes, ma'am, go right ahead. I hope it works out all right. Seems like a nice woman.
Yes, she does.
Sure doesn't figure, does it? He's had plenty of time to get home. No reason why he shouldn't be here by this time.
Oh, I can think of two.
Yeah?
An empty car and $300. We continued interviewing the wife of the missing man, Kenneth Gorman, and she told us that occasionally he did some drinking at neighborhood bars. She also told us that when her husband drank quite a bit in public places, he was over-friendly and he liked to brag and flash money. Mrs. Gorman got on the phone, contacted all their friends and relatives who happened to be home, but none of them had seen or heard from Mr. Gorman that day. Before Frank and I left, Mrs. Gorman gave us a complete description of her husband, the clothing he was wearing, and also a recent photograph of him. We called Fred Bernard, the friend of the missing man, the last known person to see him, and told him that we'd like to talk to him. He told us that he was working late, getting out a rush order, and that we could find him in his shop. 9:05 p.m. We located Bernard at his shop on South Alameda.
Won't take long, will it? An awful rush tonight.
Won't take long, sir. Did Mr. Gorman give you any idea where he was going when he left here this afternoon?
No, just like I told his wife on the phone. I paid him the money I owed him. He asked me if I wanted a beer, took a rain check on it, and he left. Went right out that door there.
You seem worried about anything, Mr. Gorman?
No, not that I could see. Seemed all right to me.
Had he been drinking, do you know?
No, couldn't say. If he was, I couldn't smell it on him.
Is there anything unusual about him at all? Anything out of the ordinary?
No, the same old Ken. Pretty good mood when I paid him. There's $300 cash. He's all dressed up. I guess you might call that unusual.
How do you mean, unusual?
Well, Ken's like me. Working man, not much of a dresser. Usually find him in working clothes. I think it's the second time I ever saw him in a suit. A new one, too. Looked nice on him.
He didn't give you any indication at all where he might be going, did he?
No, he just collected his money and went out. I thought maybe he was going home. What did Miss Gorman tell you? Did you have any idea where he is?
No, sir. She told us he came down here to collect some money. She expected him right home. We're not trying to be nosy, Mr. Bernard, but how do Gorman and his wife get along? They're pretty happy together?
Yes, I guess you might say that. Get along as well as you could expect them to.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing. Ken's he's a fellow who likes his nightlife. Wife's just the opposite, quiet type. Almost left him once. Guess they're getting along pretty good now, though.
Why'd she almost leave him? Would you happen to know?
Well, she found him out with a girlfriend. Matter of fact, she caught him at a terrible row. Didn't understand any of it. The girlfriend wasn't much at all. Real lush.
You know the girl's name?
Yeah, I met her twice. Name's Elaine something. She works at a cafe 3 blocks from here. Real lush. She sure took me.
You know if Gorman's been seeing her lately?
Well, he says he hasn't been. I don't know. I never can tell when he's drinking, though. Didn't his wife mention the girl at all? No, I guess she wouldn't. That's been a terrible thing for her when she found out. Terrible.
How long ago was all this, Mr. Bernard? I mean, this affair Gorman had with this girl.
Oh, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago, just about that. I tell you, it was the queerest thing I ever saw. Ken has a nice, quiet wife of his at home, and they get along fine together, never fought, never quarreled. Then he picks up with his girl Elaine, sure different.
How's that?
Real mean girl. 2 of them fought all the time.
9:40 p.m. We left Fred Bernard at his shop, drove to the restaurant where Gorman's girlfriend reportedly was working as a waitress, and we checked with the manager. He told us a girl by the name of Elaine Summerall had been employed there, but that she'd been fired for drinking on the job. He also told us that he had reason to suspect that Elaine Summerall was not the girl's true name. We showed the cafe manager a picture of Mr. Gorman, and he identified it. He said Gorman had been in that afternoon inquiring about the Summerall girl. Gorman had asked for the girl's forwarding address, but the manager told us that he'd thrown it away. We left our card with him and asked him to contact us immediately in the event the girl returned. 10:18 p.m. We drove back to the city hall and checked in at the office. We ran the name and description of the Summerall girl through R&I, and they told us they had a Summerall girl in the files who answered the description. Elaine Summerall, alias Elaine O'Donnell, alias Elaine Shellman. There were wants out on her for forgery, 3 counts, and grand theft merchandise. We signed out of the office, went across the street to the Federal Cafe, and had a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
It wouldn't look so rough if it wasn't for the stranger found in the back seat of that car.
It's hard to get around. It points to more than robbery, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mo sure strikes me pretty funny, pulling the man off the street like that.
Must be either hard up or crazy, huh?
Federal Cafe. Just a minute. Friday?
Yeah.
Go on.
Right, thank you. I'll be right back, Frank. Yeah, Friday talking. Yeah, go in. Where? How long ago? Yeah, I see, huh? There wasn't, huh? Yeah, we'll roll on it right now. Tell them we're on our way in, will you? Yeah, right. Thanks, Glenn. Bye.
Yeah?
Chandler. They just found the maroon coupe, the one stolen in the neighborhood where Gorman's was dropped.
Where'd they find it?
Picked it off going up through Lancaster, sheriff's deputies.
Did it look good on our job?
Well, there were 2 men in the car. One of them had a knife, bloodstains on their clothes, all over the inside of the car.
How's it figure?
It doesn't. Not a scratch on either one of them.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action.
Friends, because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, more smokers coast to coast are switching to king-size Fatimas every day. Yes, more smokers coast to coast are finding that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Now, here's the practical way to prove Fatima quality yourself.
Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs. 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality.
Remember, more and more of your friends are switching to king-size Fatimas.
Compare them yourself. King-size Fatima, extra mild and soothing, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Look for the bright, sunny yellow pack. Buy king-size Fatima.
Monday, March 18th, 10:40 p.m. After we received the report that the stolen maroon coupe, along with the two suspects, had been recovered north of the city in the town of Lancaster, Frank and I stopped by the record bureau and checked to see if there was a make on either one of the suspects. The first one, Paul Mike, white male American, 32 years, 5'11", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He had a long felony record, including burglary and robbery. He'd served sentences in both San Quentin and Folsom, and there was a warrant on him for violation of parole. The second suspect, Floyd Compton, white male American, 34 years, 5'8", 135 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. His record included arrests on suspicion of burglary, 4 grand theft merchandise, and 3 drunk arrests. He was a petty thief known to us as a shoplifter. He'd never served time in a penitentiary. 10:55 p.m. Frank and I, with identifying photographs of the two suspects, left the city and drove north. We checked in at the Lancaster Sheriff's Office substation. Captain Walker Hannon briefed us on the details of the arrest, and then he showed us back to the cell block where the two suspects were being held. He told us neither of the men had been questioned because the officers there weren't acquainted with the facts of the case. He also informed us both men had been separated from the time of their apprehension. Captain Hannon had Paul Mike taken from his cell, and he was brought to the captain's office where we started to question him. It went slow.
I don't think I understand you, Sergeant. What's all the excitement about?
You can answer that better than we can, Mike.
Answer what? What do you want to know?
The car, Mike, and the blood stains.
What about them?
A little unusual, wouldn't you say?
I don't know anything about any blood stains. If they're in the car, I don't know how they got there. It isn't my car.
Yeah, we know that. What about the stains in your clothes?
Well, I don't know. We were sitting in the car there. Maybe the stains rubbed off on us. You got a cigarette?
Only one thing wrong with that story, Mike. The stains are on the wrong side of you.
All right, so I had a fight. Got hit in the nose. What's that, a law against it?
I got a hunch, Mike.
Yeah?
You're lying. Where'd you get that car?
I told you where I got it. Me and Carlton were bumming a ride on San Fernando Road. This spook came along in the maroon coupe and gave us a ride. A couple of miles this side of Lancaster, he stopped the car and got out. Said he'd be right back. Walked right out into the desert.
That right?
Yeah. Waited for him to come back. Waited a long time. Honked the horn, yelled for him. We finally gave it up. Matter of fact, Carlton and me got a little scared. Thought maybe the car was stolen. I didn't want to get caught in a hot car. I'm an ex-con. I couldn't stand the heat. The truth, I'm squaring with you.
What about the money, Mike?
Huh?
The money. They booked you in with $133 in your pocket.
Oh, yeah. I got lucky in a crap game last night. I was pulling out.
How about the pocket knife? Blood stains on it? You win that in the crap game, too?
No, matter of fact, it was in the car. Found it right there on the seat.
Big coincidence, Mike. Somebody leads you a car, blood stains on the inside, stains on you and your partner. Pocket knife, stains on that, too. You're on parole, leaving town without notice, driving a car you're not supposed to be driving, pocket full of money you got no way of accounting for. Face it, Mike.
What do you mean?
Face it, you're dead. Flag on your card now. Parole officer wants you. Now, how about the truth?
What do you mean the truth? I've told it to
All right,
you.
now, come on. Let's save time for all of us, Mike. You've been around long enough. You've graduated. You know we're not going to buy that line.
What line? How can I explain things to you? You won't believe me. I told you nothing but the truth since I walked into this room. You won't believe me. You got a cigarette?
How do you account for the blood in your shirt?
I told you I had a fight. Guy hit me in the nose. Happened right down there in L.A. You can check it.
Where did it happen?
Bar. Downtown.
There's a lot of bars downtown.
Well, place on South Pierce. I go there sometimes.
What's the name of it?
797 Club. Ask anybody in there.
You said it happened tonight?
Yeah, about 8 o'clock. Just before we cut out. Guy hit me right on the nose. Real rough one. You got a cigarette?
What time did you say you had that fight?
About 8 o'clock.
You sure of that?
Sure, why?
You're not doing too well, Mike.
Now what's the matter?
We were at the 797 Club tonight. We talked to the owner.
So what?
We were there at 6:35. He locked the place up and went home at 6:45. He was sick.
797 Club?
Yeah, that's right. Now, where were you at the time of the robbery?
I want an attorney. I'm not saying anything else, trying to frame me. Take me back to my cell.
Any way you want it, Mike. Let's go.
Hopefully you tell them the truth and they don't believe you. How about that cigarette?
Captain, would you have the jailer return this one and bring in something? How about that? He couldn't tell the truth if it helped him. Hope we do better with his partner.
Well, we're going to have to. We know we're on the right track. The big question is, what have they done with Gorman?
Big guess. 1,000 places they could have dumped him between here and L.A.
I hate to make book on his chances. Everything points to a killing, doesn't it?
Mike looks like the one who could handle it.
One income. Over here. Sit down.
Yeah.
My name's Friday. This is Smith, my partner.
Hi.
Branched out of your class, haven't you, Compton? Running in the big time here?
What do you mean? We haven't done anything.
Robbery, kidnapping, grand theft auto. You're moving pretty fast.
Didn't Mike tell you? This guy gave us a ride. He stopped the car and walked away. We didn't steal the car. Thought the guy was lost. He drove in here to get help.
Let's take it from the top. Where'd you spend the day? Who were you with?
Mike. He stayed overnight with me. Both slept till about 2 o'clock, got something to eat, and went to a show. Got out about 5.
What'd you do then?
Went to this bar downtown. Didn't Mike tell you?
You were with him, weren't you?
Sure, I was with him. He'll tell you that.
He did. And you didn't do anything wrong, did you?
No.
Then what are you worrying about? Let's forget Mike now. You level with us, will you?
You're getting it straight. I didn't do anything.
Mike says he can't stand another beef. Can't afford it. He's 2 up right now.
I know that.
Well, we believe him, Compton. Mike's done too much time. He couldn't make another trip easy. We think he's telling us the truth.
Well, so am I. What are you getting at anyway?
All right, now let's get on the bandwagon while you can. We don't need you, Compton. If you talk or not, it doesn't make any difference.
Just a minute. Can I talk to Mike?
All right, we'll give it a try. Frank, you want to ask him?
Yeah, okay.
Be right back. Now, let's pick up where we left off. The bloodstains on your clothes, stains inside the car. Where'd they come from?
Mike told you, didn't he?
Yeah, you tell us.
What for? Why can't I wait till Mike gets here?
All right, what about the money? You want to explain about that?
Nothing to explain. I saved it.
What kind of work do you do?
Odd jobs around town, any place I can find them.
You say you got up at 2, you had something to eat, you went to a show, and you got out about 5 o'clock. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
When'd you go to the 797 Club?
Right after the show, about 5 o'clock.
How long did you stay there?
About an hour, till about 6 o'clock.
Anything unusual happen while you were in the bar?
What do you mean?
Anything unusual, anything out of the ordinary?
Oh, Mike and me sat there, talked, had some drinks. Pretty dead place. Decided to take off for Reno. Mike's got a friend up there, good friend. Thought maybe he'd get the both of us jobs.
Compton?
Yeah? Where's Mike?
I told him you wanted to talk to him. He said he didn't want to see you. He took him out to feed him. Told me to tell you he'd see you in court.
What do you mean, see me in court?
I think you got it, Compton. We told you we didn't need you. Come on, we're tired. We're going to lock you up.
What'd he say? What'd he tell you?
Now, look, fella, we're tired. You wanted to go the hard way. All right, you'll get the answers in court.
Well, what did he say? What'd he tell you?
Come on, let's go. You should have known better. Mike's not going to ride your beef for you.
He was in it all the way. It's his idea and it's his beef, not mine. I argued with him. I know he shouldn't have gone along crazy.
Yeah, come on.
It's the truth. The whole thing's Mike's. It's his knife, too. Met the guy in some bar, and he was real high, talking about some dame he was looking for, a girlfriend. Guy bought us a couple of drinks, had a big roll of bills. Mike framed the whole thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, he wanted to roll the guy. He left, got in the guy's car, and drove with him way toward town. Mike was driving. I didn't know where he was heading for. All of a sudden, the guy says he wants another drink. Mike didn't want to stop, but he was making a racket. Finally pulled up by the 797 Club. We got out. Then the guy changes his mind. He wants to go home. Mike tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't listen. Mike pulled a knife and cut him. Then he slugged the guy, and the two of us pushed him in the car and took off.
Where'd you go from there?
We cruised around till we found another car, maroon coupe. We clouded that one, dumped the gray sedan, and took off up this way.
Right.
Look, it's the truth. I'll even tell you about the guy. What happened to him? You got flashlights in your car?
The man's still alive?
I don't know. He was when we left him.
1:45 a.m. The Lancaster Sheriff's Substation contacted the local emergency ambulance, and they were instructed to follow our car. Along with the suspect, Floyd Compton, Frank and I got in the car and headed south, following his directions. After several tries at locating the spot where Mike and Compton supposedly left their victim, we finally found where they'd parked their car on the side of the road. We got out, and Compton led us back across a stretch of sand to a thick clump of sagebrush about 300 yards off the highway. The victim, Kenneth Gorman, was lying face down. His hands and feet were tied together. It was fairly evident that he'd lost a good deal of blood and that he was in a state of severe shock. He was placed on a stretcher and placed in the ambulance.
All right, Compton, that's it. Let's go.
Be real tough. Sure glad he ain't dead.
Yeah, sure. Come on.
Where are we going now?
Back to the sheriff's office. Want to take your statement.
Okay with me. There's one thing I want. One more thing.
Yeah?
That lousy Mike. I want to be there. I want to see him.
How's that?
Trying to load this thing on me. I want to see his face when you tell him. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, neither can we.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 12th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 84, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, once again, I'd like to ask you to compare Fatima with the king-size cigarette you're now smoking. When you do, I'm convinced that you'll agree that king-size Fatimas do give you more for your money. An extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Remember, Fatima in the bright sunny yellow pack. And remember, in Fatima, the difference is quality.
Paul Knight Mike and his accomplice, Floyd Compton, were filed on for violation of Section 209 of the Penal Code, kidnapping for the purpose of robbery, and Section 211 of the Penal Code, robbery in the first degree. They were also filed on for one count of grand theft auto. They were tried and convicted and received sentences as prescribed by law. Kidnapping for the purpose of robbery, where bodily harm is inflicted, is punishable by the death sentence or life imprisonment without possibility of parole. Robbery is punishable by imprisonment from 5 years to life. Grand theft auto is punishable by a prison term of not less than 1 nor more than 10 years. The victim, Kenneth Gorman, finally recovered after more than 3 months in the hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week, Dragnet presents a trilogy. 3 documented case histories of vital importance to all of us. This trio of authentic stories is both tragic and terrifying. Please try to hear Dragnet next week when we present our trilogy.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Vic Perrin, Virginia Gregg, Sam Edwards. Script by Jim Moser. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now read Dragnet every day on the comic page of your favorite newspaper. Please consult your local daily paper. King Size Fatima has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Adventure is yours tonight with Counter Spy on NBC.
The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, king size, extra mild and soothing, brings you Dragnet on both radio and television.
You're an investigating sergeant. You're assigned to Traffic Division, AID. Death and tragedy is forecast for the people of your city. You don't know who the victims will be. You don't know how many there will be. Your job? Try and stop it. Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
Yes, compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs, 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Buy Fatima in the bright, sunny yellow pack.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, July 3rd. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Traffic Division, accident investigation. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Deputy Chief Caldwell. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from the scene of the accident, and it was 9:42 p.m. when I got to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, second floor. Treatment room 5.
Joe?
Hi. How's it going?
Not too good.
How are they?
Bad, all 4 of them. Girl who was riding in the front seat, both legs crushed.
Oh, no.
Talking to Doc Hall, nothing he can do. Gonna have to amputate.
That's a shame. All the parents been notified?
Yeah, they're on their way down now. Cigarette?
Yeah, thanks.
touch and go with the kid who was driving, the Wheeler boy. Doc doesn't give him much of a chance.
Possible to get a statement from him?
No, still unconscious. They get pictures of the wreck, all right?
Yeah, they did. The car the kids were in laid down 207 feet of skid marks. From the condition of the car, it's a wonder any of them are alive. Not a straight piece of metal in the wreck frame. How about that couple in the sedan they sideswiped?
Doctor isn't sure. Both have internal injuries. Woman's right leg is fractured. Man has a possible concussion. Lousy thing.
Every one of them's old enough to know better. What made them think they could get away with it? Oh, hi, Doctor.
Friday?
Any change, Doc?
Which one you mean?
The Wheeler boy?
No, it's still the same. The other 3 kids are doing a little better. It's a shame. None of them are more than 14, 15 years old, are they?
Both the girls are 13. The Wheeler boy's 16. The other boy's 12.
Yeah. Pretty young to be out alone burning up the streets. How'd it happen?
Well, one of the girls told us that the Wheeler boy picked up the 3 of them about 8 o'clock tonight. Asked them if they wanted to go for a ride in his father's new car. Well, they thought they were going down to the neighborhood drive-in for a Coke.
Yeah.
Well, the girl said they drove around the neighborhood for a while. Wheeler boy was bragging about what a good driver he was, how fast the car'd go. Kept telling the kids that he could drive as fast as his father did.
Yeah. Well, I hear it's too bad you can't hold the father.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious he didn't set much of an example. Well, the girl told us that the Wheeler boy drove down the highway. She spotted a police car behind him and told the Wheeler kid to slow up. He said something like, my father outran a cop the other day. If he can do it, I know I can. Well, the kids pleaded with him to pull over and stop, and he wouldn't listen. Told him to shut up and hang on, and he'd show him some real fancy driving.
Had to chase him more than 19 miles, Doc. Car in pursuit radioed in for help. We tried to block off the intersections ahead of them. They were just going too fast.
How'd the boy crack out?
Sideswiped the sedan with that old couple in it. Lost control of the car, went into a skid. The car hit the curb, blew a tire, piled head-on into a parked truck. The impact drove the engine of the truck right back into the cab. I never saw anything like it. The car the kids were in is almost broken in half.
Well, I've done everything I can for him. I'll keep the Wheeler boy in the critical room. Nurse is in there with him now. I'll move the other 3 back into the ward.
We want to make our report, Doc. You got an empty slip on it?
Yeah, I just finished it. It's right in here.
Thank you.
You know, I got a 16-year-old boy, Friday. Every time I make one of these things out, I say a prayer.
Yeah.
Hope they never have to make one out for my boy. Well, excuse me. I better go back in there and check on that youngster.
All right, Doc. Thanks.
Look at this MT, Frank. Everything in the book.
What's that?
Listen. Grace Andrews, 13 years, occupation student. Fractured jaw, teeth knocked out, facial cuts, internal injuries, crushed pelvis, and shock. Here's the next one. Nancy Haynes, 13 years, occupation student. Deep facial cuts, compound fractures of the right and left legs, crushed chest, possible concussion and shock. The other boy, Walter Stewart, 12 years, occupation student. Deep facial cuts and contusions, shock and possible concussion. Fractured ribs, possible puncture of the left lung, left hand severed above the knuckles. Here's the slip on the Wheeler boy. Charles Wheeler, 16 years, occupation student. Crushed forehead, possible spinal fracture, both legs broken. Fractured ribs, broken pelvis, deep facial cuts, severe internal injuries, and shock.
My name's Wheeler. Where's my boy? What have they done with him?
All right, take it easy, Mr. Wheeler. Doctor will be out in a minute.
I don't want the doctor. I want to see my boy. Where is he? What happened anyway?
Would you keep your voice down, please? The doctor will see you in a minute. He's with your son now.
Who are you? What do you know about it?
Police officers. Your boy had an accident. We're investigating.
I know he had an accident. They already told me that. Whose fault was it? Who ran into him?
Nobody ran into him, Mr. Wheeler. The accident was his fault.
What do you mean it couldn't have been? That boy's a good driver. I taught him myself.
Would you keep your voice down, please?
I want to get to the bottom of this thing. I want to see my boy. What are you stalling me for?
Nobody's stalling you, sir. You can see your boy as soon as the doctor okays it.
I'm going to take him to my own doctor. I wouldn't trust my boy in a place like this. Who ordered him here anyway?
We did. It was an emergency. The ambulance took him here from the scene of the accident.
Well, you still haven't told me how it happened. Now, why do you say it was his fault? Why are you accusing him?
It was his fault, Mr. Wheeler. There's no doubt about it. He was speeding, and a police car tried to catch him. He tried to outrun him. In the process, he ran into a parked truck.
I knew it wasn't his fault.
Sir?
So he was going a little too fast. Charlie's a good driver. Why'd you have to chase him? Probably the cause of the whole thing. You're the ones to blame.
All right, take it easy, Mr. Wheeler.
Take it easy, nothing. Why couldn't you let the kid alone? He can drive as well as I can. Think I'd let the kid have my new car if he couldn't handle it?
What about a driver's license, sir? Your son have one?
Well, no, I didn't have a chance to get him one. Too busy to take him down there for the test. It's a stupid thing anyway. Any moron can pass it. The point is, you didn't have to chase him. He wasn't hurting anybody, was he? I taught him how to drive. He drives just like I do. He's a fast driver, but he's a good one. I ought to know.
Our radio cars had to chase your boy 19 miles, Mr. Wheeler. 11 cars chased him. Your boy was endangering the life of everybody on that highway. In a 25-mile-an-hour zone, he was clocked at better than 70 miles an hour. At one time, we figured he must have been doing better than 90. He went through a dozen boulevard stops. He barely missed a woman pedestrian. The woman had a baby in her arms. Just before he cracked up, he sideswiped another car, an old couple in it. They're in this hospital, too, and they're hurt. They're hurt bad. Now, you go ahead inside and make those two old people believe your son's a good driver, that he's just having some innocent fun, will you?
It's not all his fault. He probably wouldn't have done it if you didn't chase him. I know my boy can handle a car. I race cops myself once in a while. Charlie was with me. He's cool. He knows what he's doing behind the wheel. Just because you drive fast doesn't make you a bad driver.
It helps.
Frank?
Yeah, Doc. Can you spare a minute? This is Mr. Wheeler, father of the boy who was driving the car. This is Dr. Hall.
Where's Charlie? I want to see him.
I'm sorry, sir. You'll have to wait a few minutes. He's lost a lot of blood. They're getting him another transfusion.
What's the matter with him? How bad is he hurt?
There's a report. Read it yourself.
What kind of treatment you giving him? You sure you know what you're doing?
I think so. I've been on this job for 11 years. That's how long I've been dealing with fools like you.
What?
I heard you ranting and raving out here at these offices. Well, let me tell you this, mister. All three of you were wrong. That boy of yours lying in there isn't to blame. You are, his own father. You were driving that car tonight. I heard you ranting out here. You taught him how to drive. He can drive as well as you can. He's cool. He knows how to handle a car. You taught him how to race cops. Well, the results are inside, Mr. Wheeler.
Look here, I don't want any sermons from you. I want to see my boy. I want to see him right now.
You're not going to get any sermons from me. They wouldn't help you. But I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. I've seen your kind for years. I've sewed them up, I've patched them up, and I've pulled a sheet over their face. So far, you're lucky it hasn't happened to you. You're on borrowed time. Must be true what they say. The good Lord takes care of the fools and the drunks. Well, I can tell you now I wouldn't feel half as bad if it was you inside there on that bed instead of your son. Oh, when are people like you going to learn? When are you going to learn?
I came down here to see my son. You're not impressing me a bit.
Well, then maybe you ought to come down here some weekend, some holiday. Maybe that'd impress you. You stand inside that treatment room with me and watch them come over that table. A lot of them come in married and go out widowed, all kinds, all ages. They pull them out of the wrecks and they drag them in here and they expect miracles from us. They're battered and broken, and some of them you have to look twice because it's hard to tell they're human beings. You know who's responsible, Mr. Wheeler? You know who? Arrogant, egotistical, good, fast drivers like you. Well, I'm sick of you, Mr. Wheeler. I'm sick of the whole rotten, stupid mess. I'm sick of fools like you.
Dr. Hall?
Yeah.
See you a moment, please.
Yeah, all right.
Sure makes himself out an expert, doesn't he? He preach to everybody who comes in here?
No, matter of fact, he's usually pretty quiet.
Well, what's the matter with him? Get out of the wrong side of bed?
Maybe this will explain it. He's got a 16-year-old boy of his own.
Well, what's he beefing about? It's my kid that's hurt, not his.
Every kid he treats is his.
Mr. Wheeler.
Is it all right? Can I see Charlie now?
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm sorry about everything, Doctor. I really am. I'm sorry.
So am I, Mr. Wheeler. The boy's dead.
When George Wheeler recovered from the initial shock of his son's death, we told him it was necessary that the body be removed to the county morgue where an autopsy would be performed the following day. After that, his son's remains would be available to a mortuary of the family's choosing. Frank and I drove back to the office where we filed a 311 dead body report on 16-year-old Charles Wheeler. After that, we called the coroner's office and notified them to pick up the body at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. 10:35 p.m. We left the traffic division garage and went back on the air. We were cruising the central area. 10:53 p.m. We got the call. Aliso and Spring, ambulance follow-up, victim of a hit-and-run driver. We were within a block of the call.
Must be it up ahead, Joe, on the corner?
Oh, yeah. You can pull up any place right here, I guess. Mm-hmm. All right, come on. Slide out my side, huh?
Yeah. Let it through, please. Police officers, excuse me.
Pardon me. I wonder if I can get through here, please. Excuse me.
Doctor? You fellas doctors?
No, we're police officers.
Oh, yeah, I see. Where's the ambulance? Be here in a minute. How'd it happen? The old man was trying to cross the street. A bus hit him. Oh, look at him. Terrible, poor old guy. You work around here? Yeah, I sell papers right over in that corner over there. My name's Harry Johansson. You want me for a witness?
Frank, get his name and address, will you? I'll check the old man.
Yeah, right.
All right, now don't move around, Dad. Don't try to get up. The ambulance will be here in a minute.
I'm hurt. Bad. Terrible pain in my back.
Your legs hurt you, Dad?
No. I don't feel a thing in my legs. It's just my back. I got a terrible pain.
What's your name?
Clyde Logan.
Where do you live, Dad?
Over there, just up in the corner. Apartment 37. Could you go over and see Lona, see if she's all right? She's going to be awful worried.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. You been drinking, Dad?
Well, just a nightcap. The doctor said I ought to have a glass of port every night. I was just on my way home when it happened. Oh, my back.
You sure it was just a glass of port, Dad?
Yeah, that's right. I never touch anything but that glass of port before I go to bed. So would you please send somebody to see about Lona, apartment 37? She's going to be awful worried.
Yes, sir. We'll take care of it.
Oh, this feels terrible. I got to get up. Help me up, will you, officer?
All right. You sure you feel up to it, Dad?
I don't know. It's an awful pain in my back. I know I'm not supposed to move till the ambulance gets here, but maybe it'll go away if I stand up.
All right, sir.
Here you go.
Frank, see you a minute?
Yeah.
Cancel the ambulance, will you? We don't need it. Cancel it. Call the wagon.
Yeah, all right.
I'm going to get help, Sergeant. Are they coming for me?
Yeah, you're going to get help, Dad. It's on the way.
I come to the corner here and I started to cross over. And what do you think? Right out of nowhere, this big red bus come up the street. Must have been going 60. Hit me and kept right on going. I thought for a minute there I was gone for sure.
Did you say it was a big red bus?
It's red or blue. What's the difference? They run me down. Oh, look at that. You get the ambulance quick. Look at that.
What's that?
My shirt, Frankie. Look, it's all red. It's blood. Get some help. I'm bleeding to death. Get some help. Oh, there's a sharp pain in my ribs.
Let's take your coat off here. That's the idea.
That's better. The pain's gone now.
Yeah, well, I don't know what your blood type is, Dad, but you're bleeding port wine.
Oh, no.
Worse than you thought it was, Dad. You broke your bottle of port.
It's all wrapped up in papers, too. I wonder how it happened. Just look at my brand new shirt, all that good wine.
Joe? No, I canceled the ambulance, called communications for the wagon. What's the story?
Say, would you please send somebody up to my place to see Leona? It's apartment 37, building right up in the corner. Please look after Leona.
Yeah, we'll tell her, Dad.
Oh, say, when you see her, would you please give her this?
What's this?
Piece of liver. Leona just loves liver.
I didn't know you were married, Clyde. When did that happen?
I'm not married.
Well, then who's Leona?
That's my cat, the best friend I got in the world. Say, where's the ambulance?
No, it's not going to be in the ambulance, Dad. We got a car coming instead.
Listen, I'm a sick man, Sergeant. I need an ambulance.
You're a hit-and-run victim every time you get enough port wine, Dad.
I don't know what you mean. It's a glass of port every night. That's all I ever take.
What time do you think it is now?
Time? I don't know. I went over to Jack. It's about 8 o'clock. Must be 8:15, 8:30. Why?
It's 10 minutes past 11, Dad. You're overdue.
I don't get it, Joe. What's the pitch?
Don't you know him?
No, I don't think so.
Clyde Logan. Got an arrest sheet as long as your arm. Somebody down at Central tagged him with the name Hit and Run Logan. He's a town character.
Well, what's the idea of the hit and run story?
Well, he likes attention. Every time he gets loaded, he likes to ride in an ambulance with a siren wide open, so he lays down on the street, pretends he's been hit.
I see.
Every city's got at least one of them, I guess. Some of them turn in fire alarms. Some of them confess to murder. Some of them just beat their wives. Clyde likes to be a hit-and-run victim.
See, what are you going to do? You're going to lock me up?
No choice, Dad.
I suppose not. Say, would you talk to the jailer and see if I could get my old job back? I mean, you know, anything in the kitchen. I like to work in the kitchen.
Yeah, all right, we'll talk to him.
And now, just one more thing.
Yeah?
Would you go see Jackie Martin for me? Place right up the street there. You know, you see the sign there?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Jackie's old-time wine shop. That's the place. Well, you go in there and you ask for Jackie. You tell him that I sent you. See, you can say that he's not going to get any more of my business. You tell him I won't even pay him what I owe him.
Well, what's the matter, Dad? Why are you mad at him?
Well, I got good enough reason. All the trade that I've given him and all the money I spent there and double-cross her. He can't keep customers that way, and he'll find that out.
What do you mean, Dad?
Well, look, right here on the sidewalk.
Yeah?
Jackie Martin, him and his cheap bottles.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action.
Friends, because of its quality, its extra mildness, its better flavor and aroma, more smokers coast to coast are switching to king-size Fatimas every day. Yes, more smokers coast to coast are finding that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Now, here's the practical way to prove Fatima quality yourself.
Compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
1. Fatima's length filters the smoke 85 millimeters for your protection.
2. Fatima's length cools the smoke for your protection.
3. Fatima's length gives you those extra puffs, 21% longer than standard cigarette size.
Fatima gives you more for your money.
And in king-size Fatima, you get an extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality.
Remember, more and more of your friends are switching to king-size Fatimas.
Compare them yourself. King-size Fatima, extra mild and soothing, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Look for the bright sunny yellow pack. Buy king-size Fatima.
Thursday, July 3rd, 11:30 p.m. There was still half an hour to go before the July 4th weekend even started. But in the last 7.5 hours, Central Traffic had answered 13 major accident calls. 4 of them were fatalities. If it was any indication of the next 72 hours, the 4th of July weekend was due to spell death and tragedy for more people than we figured. 12:10 a.m. We received another ambulance follow-up call, this time at 11th and Georgia. A young couple on a motorcycle trying to beat the stop signal had crashed headlong into the side of an eastbound bus. One was taken to the hospital, one was taken to the county morgue. 12:20 a.m. After taking care of the necessary reports, we impounded the motorcycle. The next half hour was fairly quiet. 12:55 a.m. We went off the air and stopped to have a cup of coffee. 1:15 a.m. We called back in service. We continued cruising the central area. At 1:48 a.m., 12 minutes before quitting time, we got a call for Wilshire and Toberman Street, an ambulance follow-up, city property damage, motor officer. 1:15 a.m., we arrived at the scene. Approximately 20 feet from the southwest corner, a police motorcycle was sprawled on the street. The front of it was demolished. About 30 feet from the motorcycle, lying face down in the street, was the figure of a man in a police uniform.
All right, would you step back, please? Up on the...
Please, everybody, back up there on the sidewalk, please.
Help me. Please.
All right, don't try to move, fella.
It's Brian.
Hey, Mike. Mike?
Tried to miss it. Couldn't help it.
Take it easy now. Don't try to talk.
Ambulance is on the way, Mike.
Don't kid me, Joe. My chest hurts. Hey, unbutton my collar. Can't breathe.
All right, sure, Mike. Come on, take it easy now. Don't move.
Chasing this car. Cream convertible. Man, woman. Think he was 502. Big chase. Red light. Sorry.
All right, now take it easy, Mike. Relax.
Other car turned right in front of me. I saw it. Nothing I could do. Couldn't stop. Turned right in front of me. Evelyn. Gonna go see her. Evelyn. She's waiting.
All right, will you take it easy, Mike? Don't talk and don't move. This will work out all right. Take it easy.
Joe. Evelyn. Joe.
Mike.
Joe, got a coat here. Slip it under his head. It'd be more comfortable.
No, he doesn't need it, Frank. He's comfortable. 1:57 a.m. The ambulance arrived, and O'Brien's body was removed to the county morgue. Photographs were taken, diagrams were drawn, and statements taken from the witnesses. A truck from Central Garage arrived and started removing the dead officer's motorcycle. Frank and I went over and started interviewing the driver of the car which O'Brien had collided with. She identified herself as Corrine Norton, a bookkeeper at a South Los Angeles defense plant.
I was making a left turn, that's all. Next thing I knew, he hit my car. You can see what he did to it. Who's going to pay for the damage?
We can talk about that later, Miss Norton. Our first concern is we'd like to find out what happened.
Well, there's nothing to it. I already told you. This cop ran into me. There wasn't anything I could do.
Well, would you start from the beginning, please, and tell us exactly what happened?
From the beginning of what? I told you. He ran into my car. What more do you want to know? Sorry it happened, but I couldn't help it. Look at my car. How am I going to get to work in the morning?
Will you please tell us what happened here, miss, just as near as you can remember?
Well, I was going down this way on Wilshire on my way home. I started to make a left turn onto Toberman, and this cop on the motorcycle drove right into me. Wasn't anything I could do. His fault. I couldn't help it.
Could we see your operator's license, please?
Certainly. Let's see. There's someplace. Yeah, here it is.
Do you want to read it off, Frank?
Yeah. California operator's license number B208-927.
Okay, got it.
Corrine, C-O-R-I-N-N-E-M, Norton. 10,033 Ruth Ellen, Los Angeles.
10,033?
Right. Female, 5'3.5", 123 pounds. Born February 18th, 1909. Blue eyes, brown hair. Must wear adequate glasses.
Just a minute. Okay.
You have your glasses with you, Miss Norton?
Well, yes, right here in my purse. I really don't have to wear them. I can see just as well without them.
Were you wearing your glasses at the time of the accident?
Yes, I was. I took them off right after the accident. Here they are, right here in my purse. See?
Miss Norton, we understand the motorcycle officer had his red light and siren in operation at the time of this accident. Did you see it or hear it?
No, I didn't hear any siren, and I certainly didn't see any red light.
And when's the first time you saw the officer, ma'am?
When he hit me. He seemed to come out of nowhere. He was going very fast.
You say you were in the process of making a left turn. Is that right, Miss Norton? Did you give a hand signal indicating that you were going to turn?
Of course I did. I always do.
You touched your car since the accident.
What do you mean if I touched it?
Was your car just like it was when you were driving it prior to the accident?
Yes, I suppose it is. I mean, with the exception of the damage he did.
You're sure you gave a hand signal, Miss Norton?
Of course I am. What's this all about, anyway?
Well, if your car's exactly the way it was before the accident, and you're telling us the truth here, how do you account for the fact that the left-hand window of your car is still rolled up here?
What?
The window of the driver's side of your car there, it's closed tight. You couldn't have made a left-hand signal, now could you?
What? I don't understand it. I'm sure I made a signal. I think so, anyway. Are you trying to say I'm to blame for that cop's death?
We're not trying to say anything, ma'am. We're trying to get the facts here.
Well, you certainly have a funny way of doing it. What do you call facts, anyway? Trying to incriminate me in this thing? I was making a left turn and he ran into me. It's as simple as that. I don't know what you're so excited about.
The man just died, Miss Norton. We're trying to find out why.
Well, why ask me? I didn't kill him. Speeding along on a motorcycle like that. He shouldn't have been going that fast anyway.
That's his job, ma'am. That's what they pay him for. He was chasing a drunk driver.
All right, that's his job. He knew it was dangerous when he took it.
Yes, ma'am.
Part of his job, that's what we pay him for.
Well, he's dead, Miss Norton. Who's going to pay him for that? 2:15 a.m. A traffic car took Corrine Norton downtown to the station where her statement was to be taken and a further investigation made. Frank and I contacted Sergeant Joe Whitehead of the medical detail and informed him of Mike O'Brien's death. He told us he'd notify the business office and the parents of the dead officer. Because of our close association with O'Brien, we happened to know that he planned to get married July 15th, the first day of his vacation. The girl he was going to marry was an Evelyn Monroe. She lived in the Silver Lake district. We told Whitehead that we'd notify her. 2:30 p.m. Frank and I drove out Sunset Boulevard to the girl's house.
Oh, hi, Frank. Joe.
Oh,
Is Mike with you?
Well, no, he isn't, Evelyn.
Well, come on in. Have some coffee. I'm just waiting for Mike.
All right, thank you.
Guess Mike's a little late tonight. Come on in. How do you like your coffee? Cream and sugar?
Black will be all right, thanks. Both of us.
Look at the dining room table. Pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's very nice.
Nicest wedding present I think I've ever seen. Didn't know we had so many friends. You see what the boys in the motor squad sent us? Electric mixer, all the attachments, too.
Yeah, we see him. Very nice.
What's the matter, Joe? Hard day?
Yeah, it was. It was a tough one.
Oh, you're just like Mike. When he gets off work, he's grumpy as a bear. I don't know why. Nothing tough about your job. You ought to work for the man I work for. Coffee's coming right up.
Joe? Yeah. You're going to have to tell her I can't. Do me a favor.
Yeah, I'll try.
Here you are. I think you ought to like these donuts. I get them at the bakery down the street. Mike's crazy about them.
Would you sit down, Evelyn, please? I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, sure, Joe. You sound serious. What's the matter?
It's about Mike, Evelyn.
Mike? What about him?
Well, he wanted us to come by and see you. He was hurt tonight.
Oh, no. Was it bad?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
What happened? Where is he? Can I see him?
No, not now. A little later.
What happened? They told his mother and dad?
Yeah, Evelyn. Joe Whitehead's out there now.
Joe Whitehead, medical detail?
Yeah, that's right.
He usually doesn't go out right away unless they're dead. Joe? Joe, tell me the truth. What's happened to Mike? What's happened?
Well, he's dead, Evelyn.
No. It isn't the truth. He can't be dead.
He was chasing a drunk driver over on Wilshire. A woman turned in front of him. Couldn't get out of the way. Didn't have a chance to lay his bike down. Sorry.
It's not true. Can't be it's not true. He called me at 11. He'll be here at any minute. He'll be here any minute. Mike.
Oh, Evelyn, please. There's nothing you can do. Nothing anyone can do. If crying would help, I'd cry with you.
But it's not right. It isn't right. Why should he die? Why should he?
I'm sorry. Went fast. He didn't suffer. Talked about you. The last thing was about you.
Hard to realize. I can't understand it. I can't. There's no reason for it.
No reason for a lot of it.
Why, Joe? Why did he have to die? Why did he?
Oh, I don't know. I got an idea, maybe, Evelyn.
Why?
Somebody forgot to put out their arm.
The story you have just heard was true.
The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 2nd, an inquest was held at the county morgue, city and county of Los Angeles, state of California. The coroner's jury returned a verdict of excusable homicide in the death of motorcycle officer Michael O'Brien. In a moment, a word about another trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, I know a lot of you listeners have taken my advice and switched to Fatima's. Now, if you haven't, how about comparing Fatima this weekend for sure? You see, Fatima quality stands out by comparison. And that's why I ask you to try Fatima's. Compare them with the king-size cigarette you've been smoking. You'll find Fatima's give you more for your money. An extra mild and soothing smoke, plus the added protection of Fatima quality. Remember, king-size Fatima's in the bright, sunny yellow pack.
Normally at this time, we give you the result or outcome of legal proceedings against a person or persons for criminal action. You've already heard the results of the documentary cases portrayed on Dragnet tonight. 4th of July weekend is at hand. 40 million automobiles will drive 5 billion miles. Please make every mile a safe mile. Be considerate of the other driver on the road and have a happy weekend. We don't want to read your name on Dragnet's trial page. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Vic Perrin, Stacey Harris, Vic Rodman. Script by Jim Moser. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now read Dragnet every day on the comic page of your favorite newspaper. Please consult your local daily paper. King Size Fatima has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Yes, adventure is yours tonight with Counter Spy on NBC.